Good evening once again. Thank you very much. We are supposed to be live on YouTube, on TikTok, and on Facebook, and then on various platforms. I'm just checking if we are live. Share. This is an important program. You have to listen and share with colleagues. We are launching Project 2026. It's my idea, our idea. I want you to buy in. I want members of the opposition to buy in. There's something we can do. It's defined. It's settled. President Hakainde Hichilema must go in 2026. It's harmful for our country. It's brought in economic policies that have brought poverty and economic inequality in our country. He has to go. I think we have catalogued his failures. We've catalogued everything that he will not do better. He's had 4 years. He's remaining with 1 year and one budget. He's taking us nowhere. I think there's no longer any need to continue to condemn President Hakainde Hichilema. We need to provide solution. Let's have a proper discussion, an emancipation plan for Zambia, a social contract with voters. Let's begin to discuss a revolutionary approach, with voters. What can we do? How pragmatic can we be? What are our approaches? How can we be different from Hakainde Hichilema's policies? What practical solutions do we need to deliver? These choices are inevitable. So call every other person who's serious about the state of our country. Let's discuss it. Let's discuss it. I'm proposing choices, what we are calling Project 2026. How can we make our country better? What are the choices we need to make as a country? Economic, political, social, legislative, legal decisions. I'm proposing a framework that can be bought into. It can be improved. It can be made better. Academics, policymakers, voters, anyone should buy in. It's a mere framework where to start from. How do we replace President Hakainde Hichilema? And what economic policies can we provide? What should the opposition do? Okay, so that's what we are discussing. Share, share, share. Good evening once again. Today we are discussing Project 2026. What should we do? What should the opposition do? What alternative economic policies should we do? But first, let me deal with some in-house issues. We continue to mourn Pope Francis. Is expected to be laid to rest, at the Vatican. And there are various activities happening in Zambia at the Cathedral of the Child of Jesus. You can go and sign a book of condolences at a Zambia Conference of Catholic Bishops in Lusaka headquarters, their offices in Kablonga. You can go and sign that document. As we remember, Pope Francis has been very instrumental. Just this year, he called for debt relief, total debt cancellation by the West, their creditors, their companies, or sovereign debt. He called for total debt cancellation. The world is suffering unequal trade platforms. Our cobalt is determined at a market in London where we have no say, no sway, no influence. So the debts that are sent to as aid or loans to Africa are literally artificial. First, they rip you off through trade. They rip you off through your resources. Then they advance you loans, burden you with loans that you can't pay. The Pope was very clear. Cancel these debts. They are legitimate. Cancel, forgive. And it's a year of the Jubilee. It's a year you must forgive those debts. He was very instrumental. We'll remember him. There were tumultuous happenings in the last few days in the Tonse Grand Alliance. I'm glad that the former president, who's a chairperson and president of Tonse Alliance, stepped in, liaised with my dear brother Sean Tembo, liaised with KBF, liaised with everyone else, liaised with Honorable Given Lubinda, with Honorable Raphael Nakachinda, and calm has been restored in Tonse Alliance. Tonse Alliance must continue to grow, must continue to court other people. We need to bring Fred Membe, we need to bring Sakwiba Scotta, we need to bring everyone of like mind. This is no time for petty battles, petty squabbles, or ego issues. It's time for the opposition to come together. And when we form any alliance, we should not close doors. If UCA and Tonse came together, I'll be the happiest, because I know then we are being formidable towards dislodging President Hakainde Hichilema. If there's any other political alliance, let us come together. Let's not be yoked to these petty quarrels, petty squabbles. And I'm glad the maturity that was played by President Edgar Lungu. He stepped in, ensured that the matter was quickly resolved before it became a crisis. And I'm glad that the person who started the process, my dear brother Sean Tembo, KBF and others, quickly cooperated with the former president and saw the larger goal. The larger goal is for all of us to dislodge President Hakainde Hichilema. If we need to come together, if we need Muhabi Lungu's movement, if we need Sakwiba Scotta's movement, if we need other people, Harry Kalava, Fred Membe and others to join us, let us build one formidable opposition. That's what our people are expecting us. They are expecting a similar situation of 1991, because you have a man who's a dictator, who's going to great lengths to ignore the constitution, break the law to ensure that he stays in power. You need extraordinary forces, both with the people and with all social and political formations. We need to be courting trade unions. We need to be courting civil society groupings. We need to be coming together as a very political and social force against the UPND. Because President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't mean well. How do you dislodge him? You ought to come together. So I'm glad about the Tonse Alliance and the inevitable issues that have since emerged. And we thank President Edgar Lungu, Honorable Sean Tembo, Honorable Given Lubinda, who's the acting president of the Patriotic Front, Honorable Raphael Nakachinda, who's both the Secretary General of the PF and Tonse Alliance, and Honorable KBF, who was the chairperson of this disciplinary committee, for their cooperation and for all of them to look at a bigger picture. And the bigger picture is a dislodging of President Hakainde Hichilema. He means harm to our country, both by his policies, by his state of rule. He's entrenching a dictatorship, is entrenching tyranny, is destroying the opposition, is destroying democracy, is harmful to the democratic franchise that we began to develop in 1991. He must be replaced in 2026. He's not going to be replaced because our people are suffering. No, he's not going to be replaced because we have a cost of living crisis. He's not going to be replaced because there is corruption. You have to show resolve first, that you are with the people, that you will not repeat the mistakes that President Hakainde Hichilema. President Hakainde Hichilema should be the last president to lie his way into office. He should be the last person to lie his way into office. So Project 2026 is not about lies. It's not about sweeteners. It's not about saying things that just tickles the ears of our people. It's about emancipating our country, and we want a buy-in. What do you think? Thank you. Welcome back. Today we are discussing something very, very serious. Project 2026. How do we dislodge President Hakainde Hichilema? And what alternative policies, what alternative way of governance can we propose? And that's what we are discussing today. The last issue before I go to the details of what we are discussing today is something that happened at the airport. In January, President Edgar Lungu was going for his scheduled medical trip to South Africa. It was delayed. He should have gone in 2023. He was stopped. He tried in 2024. He was stopped. Now in 2026, shortly after New Year, President Edgar Lungu decided to go for his scheduled medical review, medical treatment, and specialized look at him. At the airport, that was a day when the United Nations Special Rapporteur was coming. The police were sent to stop him from traveling, but they were very embarrassed because there were so many UN officials that had come to receive the UN Special Rapporteur, and they couldn't embarrass themselves that they were breaking the rights of the former president. So they allowed the president to travel. We have since learned that the person in charge of aviation security, who's a manager, Paul Kasonde, was fired because he allowed the former president to leave the country. What did they expect? What security clearance can an aviation security manager at the airport require? Why would they fire him? President Edgar Lungu had bought his own ticket for himself and the security staff, and he came to the airport on time. They provided VIP facilitation. He's entitled by constitution. He's a former president. He's not eligible for VIP security clearance. You can check everyone else. Even me, at my small level, as ambassador and former ambassador, in Shipitamufia security, I don't go raising my hand or I'm checked on security metal detectors. Never. They allow me to pass as ambassador, even as former ambassadors. There are many places I've been to where they recognize who I am and they allow me to pass. A gentleman called Paul Kasonde was fired from Zambia Airport Corporation because he allowed the former president to go. They are claiming that he didn't clear security clearance, meaning that the former president didn't pass through that archway. You know that archway, the metal detector, the full body metal detector. VIPs do not pass there. President Hakainde Hichilema doesn't pass there. Former presidents do not pass there. In many cases, diplomatic holders like ourselves, ambassadors, do not pass there. They respect that. Those are some of the benefits. Those are some of the franchise benefits that come to you when you hold such positions. So, Vaneva Zambia Airport Corporation, who has fired this person? Is it President Hakainde Hichilema? Is it your Minister of Home Affairs? Or is it your Minister of Commerce or Transport and Communication, who you fall under? We are aware of the rot that is going on at the Zambia Airport Corporation, the corruption, the everything. But this dismissal of Paul Kasonde, instead, let us be serious as a country. You are the one that have been saying you are treating the former president very well, that you are supporting him in South Africa. So why are you firing someone who cleared him? Why are you doing that? Okay. Project 2026, what is it all about? It is an emancipation plan for Zambia, and it's a social contract with the people of Zambia, and especially those voters that will go to vote. It's revolutionary in nature. It's pragmatic in nature. The approaches and practical proposals are totally different. And it has to be inevitable choices that our people need to make with the leadership. We need a leadership that will make commitments beyond campaign promises, beyond electioneering. That is the purpose of Project 2026. We'll invite you to come in. It's a mere framework. It can be improved. One of the pillars is calling for is unity in the opposition, if possible, that if we can flout one presidential candidate. So all presidential candidates, whether it's Emmanuel Mwamba, whether it's Harry Kalaba, whether it's Fred Membe, whether it's Given Lubinda or Brian Mundubile or whoever the PF will choose, we need to come together, whether it's Sakwiba Scotta, all major opposition of like mind, who are not infiltrated, who are not cohabiting with President Hakainde Hichilema, should come on one side. Let's face President Hakainde Hichilema with his alliance on the other side. Let the line be divided. This is not a time to sell out, to give in, to give up. This is a time to come together. This is a time to build alliances and build fences and build bridges and ensure that we overcome. First of all, I think we need to agree on an economic policy that should be homegrown. You do not want an economic policy that is dependent on the IMF. Look at the embarrassment that our Minister of Finance has faced. He went to his here in Washington for the IMF and World Bank summer meetings. And he was embarrassed. He was told, you have not finished your debt restructuring. In our country, the president and his ministers have been preaching that debt restructuring is done. IMF told him and World Bank told him it's not done. You have not tied up the loose ends with China, with Paris Club. You have not dealt with the commercial banks, the commercial creditors banks, and other private creditors totaling $3 billion. You have not completed your debt restructure. That's an embarrassment if your economy is yoked to IMF and World Bank policies. Those policies must be mere complementary. They must not be primary in approaches. So one of the issues we should agree on is that we need to promote a homegrown, founded policy that promotes, first of all, my volume is cracking. I don't want the... Just a minute. Let me just take a quick break in case there's something wrong, because I only noticed this. Sorry, this is one of the most important broadcasts I've ever done. So we need to ensure that everything is okay. Let me just reduce. Okay, thank you very much. So number one, we don't want an economy that's yoked to IMF and World Bank policies. This should be complementary. They should not be primary in nature. We don't want the embarrassment that has faced our Minister of Finance. Just 2 years ago, he was a star of other ministers of finance. He was claiming that he had done debt restructure, and we're on our way to new economic policies. And another embarrassing matter about Dr. Stumbeko Msokotwane's group is they are now looking for a fresh loan. They've exhausted the $1.3 billion bailout they were given. They asked for another $400 million to mitigate with the drought. They've exhausted the $1.7 billion, and he was asking for a fresh loan. Debt restructure. Even the local debt, which is over $10 billion, local domestic debt, he has not attended to it. He has not agreed with the people we owe, other than the primary ones, treasury bonds and government bonds, the contractors, suppliers, and others that we owe billions. He has not restructured that debt. He's saying he's going to pay after 5 years, but where are the agreements? He has done none of that. Baba tumanga ngoma na weskulu at welele ni go and resolve the debt restructure. Number 2, we need a health presence of the state in the economy. The issue that the state doesn't have anything to do with the economy and it should be private run is not true. It hasn't shown results. China demonstrates, even Japan, Vietnam, India demonstrate that if you have a health presence of the state, if the state is driving key indicators, key state-owned enterprises like Zesco, key companies like Zamtel, key companies that are, for example, that run airports and other infrastructure are in the economy run by the state in a professional manner. That is a way to grow. China has shown that you can practice capitalism but directed and controlled by the state. The state should be competing favorably. State-owned enterprises should be competing favorably with the private sector without each one crowding the other out of the space. This is a way to accelerate development, not this idea where we are giving away, for example, mine assets. You give away Mopani when it's 100% owned by you. You give away KCM when it's 100% owned by you. No. So there should be that equilibrium, the presence of a healthy state in the economy and the private sector. Our natural resources, our minerals, our water resources, land, should be harnessed and exploited, first of all, primarily for the benefit of Zambians. We should not allow other so-called investors to make billions of dollars before Zambia can benefit. It should be Zambia and Zambia first. The common man should have an opportunity, should have equal opportunity to benefit from our natural resources. We are not. At the moment, we are giving foreigners, multinationals, and foreign entities to make billions of dollars before a single trickle comes to our country. They might employ a few people, and that's why they are putting up highly mechanized equipment. For First Quantum and Barry God, they are not playing. They've brought one bucket that's worth $26 million. They want in the next 5 years, they will have depleted all the resources. By the time a responsible government is coming, they will have mined what they could have mined in 10 years under a period of 3 to 5 years. Why are they investing in highly mechanized? Why do they want to ramp up this production? Especially that government doesn't have a stake, doesn't have shareholding in those big mines. They know. Mine policies are shifted, depends with the moods of the people, depends with the new leadership. If our people get an incorruptible leadership, a leadership that can't be bought, that is determined to deliver to the benefit of our people, they know that those profits have to be shared in a just and equitable manner with our country. So they bring in highly mechanized equipment, not just to ramp up production, but to get the billions which are produces from there. Our target should be economic growth that delivers, food and job security to our people on the table in households. You cannot have economic growth. You are doing 5-6% man numbers here. No one even knows what those things mean now. We need to have economic growth that translates to bread and butter to our people, to employment to our people, economic opportunities to our people. And our target should be full employment. Full employment. How many people are unemployed? You have a population of people that are employable up to 7 million people. Our target should be to employ all the 7 million people. We should even be looking with the type of resources we have in mining, land, potential in agriculture, tourism. In fact, we should be importing labor. We said, what specialized people do we need? For example, in ITC, you get people from India. What specialized labor do we need? Zimbabwe, if you're carpentry and bricklaying, Zambians. We need to reach full employment where we're even looking to other countries to come and help us exploit our potential. We need prudent taxation, not the kind of taxation that's oppressive, where you only have a few people that are working, anchoring the entire economy. Pay as you earn literally is our biggest tax earner. That's unfair to the few people that are in formal employment. Our economy is largely informal. You have a lot of millions of people outside the tax brackets, and therefore you only punish those few people because you know where to find them. You know that you can threaten their employers and they can then deliver the pay as you earn. And the few people that are working are the only ones sustaining our countries. In fact, our workers pay more taxes than these conglomerates that are making billions of dollars. Our workers are shouldering the burden of our country. No more, no more, no more. There should be equitable taxation policy that benefits everyone else. The entire burden to develop our country should be shouldered by everyone, whether you are in the informal sector and the formal sector. But you have a lazy approach by those colleagues at Ministry of Finance that just rely on pay as you earn. That's why you are paying as high as 35%. What ridiculous tax is that? Pari 100 kwacha walipira po 35 kwacha wapelo buteko. Aubane. You are stealing from our people. That hard work is no longer repaying. It's like it's a crime to work by the burden of tax that we've put on our workers. No more. That has to come to an end in Project 2026. What's hindering our country not to develop is simple, very, very simple. Our country is not opened up. We don't have roads to reach where the good land is. We don't have electricity to reach where the good land is. We don't have infrastructure, crossing points. Our country has been mapped up to 60,000 kilometers of road is supposed to be done. And we only have under 5,000 good roads and some feeder roads, literally under 10,000 kilometers. The ambition should be that all 40,000 to 60,000 kilometers of roads that the Road Development Agency have envisioned should be motorable. So we should take a tarmac road to every provincial capital, good wide-bodied tarmac road, to proper highway to every provincial center from Lusaka. Every border, whether it's Mwami border, whether it's Chirundu, whether it's Nakonde, whether it's Mbala, whether it's Jumbe, whether it's Sikongo, should have a good tarmac road, because we have to envision a revolutionary economy that will be export-based. The opportunities we have, whether it's in land, whether it's in mining, whether it's in agriculture, whether it's tourism, should be an export-based economy. So we need a good road, good proper highway. In fact, we have to enact a special highway act, like the US did, like the Marshall Plan, the way they did in Europe. We have to think revolutionary. Take a good four-way highway road from Nakonde to Lusaka, from Lusaka to Ndola, from Lusaka to Solwezi, from Lusaka to Mongu, from Lusaka to Choma, Livingstone, from Lusaka to Chipata, Mwami border. Every border should be covered by a good road. And the rest of the roads, you township roads, you roll out, the paving way, which is far cheaper. And in the rural areas, everyone going to every farming block should be a tarmac road. Alongside the electricity, the two should go together. That is why ZESCO must not be ceded to the private sector. The private sector can never deliver electricity to those areas because it's extremely expensive. Only the public can do that as a public good. ZESCO must not be given away. ZESCO must not be given away because it has a duty. As Road Development Agency, you can combine RDA, you can create rural roads unit like the one we had, and we can create provincial, entities to collaborate and deliver these entire 40,000 to 60,000 of road kilometers in our country. Should be motorable. In most cases, you can have an ambition, we must have an ambition in Project 2020 that maybe up to 20,000 of kilometers should be on tarmac. This is a road to every province, to every district, and to every border town. We have to revolutionize our country, because in agriculture, we are going to feed the entire SADC region. We are surrounded by 400 million people, so we have to feed the 400 million people. How will you feed them if your truck can't reach Imbala? If your truck can't reach Jimbe? How will you export to Angola? How will you export to Malawi if there is no road between Lundazi and Malawi? So that's another revolutionary approach. We need a special law on the Highway Act. Deliverables, we might have to use ZNS as proper equipment. We have to revolutionize how RDA works. We might have to restore rural development unit to just deliver on the roads, either tarmac or you know, for feeder roads there. And for every, like I stated, to every farming block, we need simultaneously to take a tarmac road and electricity. Then the local authorities in those areas, in fact, we might need a special board just to accelerate the development of all the 10 farming blocks that we have, and there are 1 million hectares of land available right now. You can't exploit that opportunity because there's no infrastructure that we've taken. So 3 things should go simultaneously: communication towers, electricity at the same time, and roads to all these farming blocks, because this is where now we are going to revolutionize the agriculture, where we make Zambia drive a green revolution and we become a bread basket for Africa. Can you imagine that small country Ukraine has been feeding the whole world? Small country like Ukraine has been feeding the whole world. You have a war in Ukraine, it disrupts the supply of maize, wheat, and other crops in the entire world. What about us? Who has the best soils in Africa? Who has the best land? Who have water up to 40% in Southern Africa? Imagine that, and we don't have winters like Ukraine, who will lose up to 5-6 months because there is winter and snow and their land is not cultivable. For us, we can grow sunshine, rain, sunshine. The entire year, we can revolutionize how we do agriculture. Let me delve deeply just into a few issues. I've said we are changing in Project 2020. We are changing the tax structure. Our workers should not pay more than 15%. The tax structure at the moment is 25% up to 145%. That's what we are paying in our taxes. From 25% to 145%. You have general taxes like VAT that are also very high at 16%. Our tax structure is coming down dramatically. Not for that we are reducing taxes without telling you how it will be done. In Project 2026, we have to demonstrate how taxes will be lowered properly. So, for example, all taxes should be between 0 rated to 15%. Everything that you are paying, that should be the tax. It should not be more than 15%. When you have income to spend, when you have disposable income, other sectors benefit. Lazy governments have a habit of taxing the few that they can tax. So they will tax borders, they will tax workers, then they will impose a high customs tax or sales tax or VAT. No, we have to ensure that there's an equitable distribution. I should not be punished because I'm working. No more tax below above 15%. The tax, all taxes relating, major taxes should be between 0 to 15%. If you distribute it widely from everyone paying, you will realize that it's a fair, equitable way of paying. ZRA can collect more. In fact, what promotes tax dodging mechanism, what promotes tax cheating is because the taxes are so high. You have company tax up to 35%. You are taxing up to 145% in some of the customs duty. I'll come to that. You know, like they say, A rising tide lifts all boats. If a tide is coming, if you are the only boat, you can be swallowed. But if there are many boats, everyone benefits if there is a rising tide. That's how our taxation policy should be. It should benefit all. Everyone should contribute towards it, whether you're in the formal or informal sector. I know we have to fight things like inflation rate, but not in the approaches that our colleagues at Bank of Zambia do it. They are so obsessed and focused on fighting inflation. They can deal with everything else. They will refuse to pay contractors because they think that that will fuel inflation. They will spend all their savings in trying to control both inflation and the exchange rate. Our approach will be totally different. Totally different. We have to have an immediate recovery and reinvestment plan. The infrastructure we are talking about in agriculture, in transport and communications, will benefit from this recovery plan. Because how do you deal with a depressed economy? Look at what Barack Obama did. The major economies were collapsing into major entities and companies were collapsing in 2008 in light of that housing crisis they had. What did Barack Obama do? He released billions into the economy. For the first time, America was building roads, bridges, airports. They were rehabilitating dams. They were building new infrastructure. If we're in our depressed economy, we withhold government expenditure. We stop all projects. Those are ideas from the IMF. They don't want you to develop. They don't want you to raise domestic taxes. They know that if you look at domestic revenue, you look at the mines, which they own. Their friends own those mines. They don't want you to tax those mines. So they will say, no government expense. Stop building. Stop this. No, we have to do the opposite, like what Barack Obama did in 2008. Within a period of 9 months, the economy of the US had recovered. He did the unorthodox. Many people would have said, don't spend, stop all expenditure, stop all big projects. Instead, he brought a stimulus package. In Project 2026, that's what we have to do. We have to bring a stimulus package that immediately kickstarts our economy. Then we should have huge ambitions. Why Hichilema to raise for example, maize harvest, he says his ambition is 4 million. We want to acquire 4 million metric tons. Can you feed the 400 million people in SADC region? Our ambition is to feed and plan for the 400 million people. This government and previous governments have always just planned for the 20 million Zambians. FRA is structured in that way. The national budget is structured just to feed, plant, and grow for 20 million. The revolution coming in the economy is that we are planning to feed the 400 million people around us. And how do we do it? We jump in our planning from the current 3 million, 4 million tons to 20 million in the next 2 years. 20 million metric tons should be our harvest for maize so that we can export. That DRC should stop buying from South Africa. Angola should stop buying maize from Brazil. If we've taken a road, infrastructure, rail, and Angola and the rail, let me just digress a bit because this is something I've always wanted to talk about. Abakalamba besuwa Enoch Kavindele bali wapele concession in 1998, 30 years ago, 32 years ago, to build the rail between Chingola to Solwezi and connect it to Jimbe, and we connect it to Luena for the Benguela rail line so that our Lobito corridor is opened. Our dear brother and my former vice president, Enoch Kavindele, from 1998 he has failed, and subsequent governments have failed to revoke that concession that they gave him. He has failed to build that rail. And it was unfair to give it to the private sector. Primary infrastructure, electricity, road, rail should be done by the state. Honorable Enoch Kavindele will never do that rail. a bold decision. That's why you've reduced him to a useful idiot. Every new president that comes, he has to sing praises so that the concession is not revoked. Vane, Project 2026 calls for fundamental decisions that benefit the country, not that benefit patronage. The concession given to President Emmanuel Kavindele must be revoked. The state Zambia Railways or Tazara must be pushed in to build from Chingola to Solwezi to Jimbe. We joined to Luena. The rail line, Lobito Corridor, received an investment of $10 billion. It's a new rail, new stations, and it's far faster. The Americans, remember, trying to also improve it. That the Lobito Corridor is far faster because of one of the largest mine that is being run in the DRC, just near Solwezi, across in Kolwezi, and they want route railing. We don't have to wait for the Americans to do it. We should do the road. So, sorry, Waeno Kavindele, you've had this concession from 1998 to Mwamba Verified. It's time to accept it can be done by you. And like I'm saying, it was very unfair that this concession was given to you. Rail roads are done by the state. If they are even done by the private sector in PPP, you see how unfair they are. Primarily, if you are a country like Zambia, that should develop in an accelerated manner. Jump us from the 6 poorest to the top 20, top 50 countries in the world. You need to make revolutionary decisions. So, sorry, Honorable Enoch Kavindele, we have to make that decision so that we quickly build from Chingola. We link Solwezi, we go to Jimbe, we link to Luena in Angola, and we join the Lobito Corridor. Export. Zambia is already on its way to be a major power export. We are not supposed to have this load shedding. Not at all. No more load shedding for one simple reason. Let's start with coal. We have up to 200 years of coal reserves in Mamba and Sunazongwe. 200 years of coal reserves in Mamba. Forget about this green movement that is trying to ban coal and coal exploitation. When they had power issues in UK, in the US, and in light of the war in Europe, they all switched on the coal-fired plants. What are we doing? We have 200 years of coal reserves worth billions of dollars. Why aren't we setting up power stations that are thermal powered, that are coal-fired plants? What are we doing? We can actually supply South Africa. South Africa, produces up to 60,000 megawatts of power, and almost 80% is driven by coal power stations. What about us who have? Should we just be producing 300 megawatts from Mamba and 600? Where is SCCMIH? Where is the IDC? Why don't we put multiple plants that we then can export power and alongside build transmission lines to every border, so that we are export oriented? Remember what we said, that this should be an economy that's export focused. The power we should have just from coal, before we go to hydro, before we go to solar, from coal alone can allow us to have sustainable, and that should be your base. Solar is complementary. Battery technology is not up to date. Solar is, you've experienced it. When there's a cloud, you really can't have reliable solar. So your hydro, your coal must be your base, your reliable source of power. The others, whether it's wind, solar, and other renewables, become merely complementary. What should be our target? Currently, we are producing 3,500 megawatts. President Hakainde Hichilema is planning to ramp it up to 5,000 megawatts. He announced that he wants another 1,000 megawatts brought online in the next 5 years. But when you plan low, you will achieve. For us, we are saying minimum 10,000 megawatts. 10,000 megawatts is what we can produce in our country just in the next 2 to 5 years. If we are focused, if we deploy NAPSA, ZCCMIH, and other, we bring in some private equity, we can ramp up our production of power from 3,500 megawatts to 10,000 megawatts. Botswana will not have adequate power. Namibia will not have adequate power. The DRC, have you seen the numbers in their copper production? It has jumped from 1.5 million in the last period of 3 to 5 years. They are now the second largest producer of copper and cobalt at 3.3 million metric tons. It has jumped. If it would by 11, DRC, which is at war, which doesn't have infrastructure, which doesn't have rule of law, which is unstable, it doesn't have a proper banking and financial system, it has jumped within a period of 3 years from 1.5 million metric tons of copper to 3.3, and it's jumped, it's number 2. Look at the statistics now. So the pedestrian approach by Musoko Twane, who is saying our target is 3 million metric tons in a period of 10 years. How has DRC done it? Just tell me how DRC has, which is at war, which doesn't have a stable banking financial system, doesn't have stable electricity. How has, in 2 years, how has DRC doubled its copper production? However, Nobunangani should go with Musoko Twane and President Hakainde Hichilema. Our current copper production, in the next 2 to 5 years, our target should be 5 million. 2 to 5 years. 5 million metric tons. DRC has done it. Chile has done it. Peru have done it. The market alone is a $95 billion market for copper. We are among the major producers of copper. All we get is about $6-7 billion. And of that in taxation, it's only about $200 million. What a loss. So our target should immediately change to 5 million metric tons. That this captured market of $95 billion market of copper, we should get it. Chile is the biggest earner, 24 billion from this market, followed by DRC now, then Peru 19.9 billion, Indonesia $8.5 billion, China, Zambia, Japan, then we are on the tail ends. And like I said, let's look at the numbers, because copper is what the Lord has endowed us. That's what God Almighty has given our country, and we must discuss it briefly. Copper production should come to an end. The global copper production is 23 million tons. 23 million tons. Currently, Zambia is producing between 600,000 to 800,000 metric tons. We've never exceeded 1 million tons. Yet our copper reserves, Konkola copper mine alone, they say it has reserves up to $200 billion of copper reserves. Konkola copper mine, Konkola Deep, has copper reserves of $200 billion. Why can't we exploit this? Why should it just be potential? We'll show you how it can be done. So Chile is producing 5.3 metric tons out of 23 million. They have a state-owned enterprise, one of the biggest, but they also have private sector participation. Rio Tinto is there. Anglo-American is there. Glencore is there. BHP Billiton is there. This is what we are saying. Allows SCCM to operate. The private sector, like Anglo-American, Glencore, and others, are welcome. But they should not be the primary driver, as Chile and Peru has shown. There should be a healthy state-owned enterprise at the heart of it to propel and drive the production, supported then by the private sector. Peru is producing 3.2 million metric tons. That's one of the largest copper mines. One mine alone in Peru, the Escondida mine, produces 2 million metric tons. One mine. If Tulela Ndapali Konkola Deep, which has $200 billion reserves, we can quickly transform that mine to be posting, and mining that kind of tonnage of 2 million metric tons, one mine. And these are the biggest mines you see in the world. In Chile, there's one big mine also that produces 1.5 million metric tons. Tetumkote mine will produce just 300,000 metric tons with the kind of copper reserves and oil-rich ore that we have now. The DRC by the way, Chile is trying to overtake, Peru is trying to overtake Chile. It's at 3.3 million, but it has said in the next 5 years, they are targeting 6 million metric tons, and they want to overtake Chile and DRC. The DRC, like I said, is now number 2, statistics for 2024-2025. Democratic Republic of Congo, which is at war, no infrastructure, no roads, no proper rail. Here it's producing 3.3 million metric tons and it has captured an 11% of global output. Out of the 23 million metric tons, DRC from 2023, 2024, 2025 is producing 3.3 million. What about us? Who are at peace, who've never been to war, who've never had civil conflict, who've never had any of these serious issues? We have roads, we have rail, we have electricity. Why are we producing 800,000 metric tons? Tell me, if it's just not corruption. The DRC have been supported by Ivanhoe Mine, Kamoa Kakula Project, and Zijin Mining Group. Zijin Mining Group, there needs to be a pause on this. Zijin Mining Group eyed Mopani, Bari Banyonya. Zijin Mining Group is the largest copper producer in China. It has billions, it has state support from China. It wanted to revolutionize that Mopani, Mwabanyunya, Mwapoka Mine, Mwaipela. A year on, you can't even do anything with that. Zijin Mine is in the DRC and is producing wonders. Ivanhoe from Canada, who are friends to President Hichilema because he hosted one of their chairperson, the former President Motlanthe from South Africa. You know, the first person President Hakainde Hichilema saw was the Ivanhoe Mine chairperson, President Motlanthe. And I think they've since been given some small mine. Some small exploration role. But they are revolutionizing an old legacy mine, Kamoa Kakula project in Kolwezi. This is a mine that was shut for decades. They've reopened it as big copper production. It's an underground mine and, you know, it's doing wonders. Peru is sitting at 2.6 million metric tons. China at 1.8 million metric tons. Indonesia, 1.1 million tons. USA, 1.1 million tons. Russia, 930. Australia, 800,000. Zambia, about 700,000. Kazakhstan, 740,000. Mexico, 700,000. Vanetule Angala. The Lord has endowed us with these resources. These resources can be exploited in a meaningful way. Let us revolutionize. Our plan should be 5 million metric tons so that we become top producer. We beat Congo, we beat Chile. We should be alongside Peru, Chile, on top there. Chile and Peru used to send their experts to ZCCM to learn how to mine, in an environmental manner, to learn how to mine profitably. They came to learn policies from Zambia. They've overtaken us. They are now the #1 producers of copper. Abantu tuwalesa mbitisha. Aubane. That should not be the way. There is Project 2026. Let's do things differently. Okay, the next topic, I think let's tackle the issue of, remember we had said we need to restructure our taxes. They have to be lowered so that, and then you have to bring millions in the tax bracket, not the way it is at the moment. So what can be done better? Salaries and wages, 15% and below. Anyone earning below 10,000 kwacha zero rated, no tax contribution. If you are above 10,000 kwacha, you should pay 10%. Between 10,100 kwacha to 20,000 kwacha, you should pay 10%. From 30%, from 35%, you should contribute 10%. Then those earning 20,000 kwacha and above should only pay 15% from the 40% and the 35% that is being paid right now. We have some news for the public sector workers. They anchor this country, the teachers, the nurses, the soldiers, the civil servants that are scattered across the country. We have very good policies for them. There will be an immediate loan forgiveness to the loans you've gotten from government. Immediate loan forgiveness. Then there will be a debt swap. We recognize that you are owed long service bonus. You are owed leave benefits. You are owed settling allowances. We will immediately pay you. Frafine Washta prioritize where they paid Mwamba Collieries $500 million in 1 year. We will do the same to our public sector workers. We have to clear everything that government owes them. They sacrifice a lot. This, if you are trying to fight corruption, is give them disposable income. You owe them. Their condition of service require that you pay them long service bonus. You pay them leave benefits when they go on leave. You pay them settling allowances when you transfer, you recruit them, or you employ them. And all their loans at the moment, salary advances and loans, must be forgiven. You cannot be asking for debt forgiveness and debt restructure for your country. People are even forgiving you debt. They are writing off debts, but you can't extend the same to your own people. You want America to forgive, China to forgive your debt. Why can't you forgive your own workers? So public service workers, good news. There will be an immediate loan forgiveness plan. Then there will be a plan to clear all outstanding arrears that you are owed. Long service bonus, leave benefits, travel allowances, settling allowances, all allowances will be cleared. Then we know that you are in debt with microfinance institution. You are literally slaves to this microfinance institution. We immediately transfer that debt to public service microfinance institution, a government institution that should guarantee that debt. It should be the main player for the entire 300,000 workers, so that they are not yoked to these, predatory salary-based microfinance institutions that have crippled households, that are allowing people to go into debt, that are allowing our population to be suicidal, and they're taking away their lives. They are unliving. I learned something from Facebook, because we are broadcasting on Facebook. You can't use words like suicide or kill. You have to use like unlive, and have to learn those new tactics. Apparently, when you use those strong terms, Facebook algorithms immediately drop because it comes as a threat. So we have to use these new terms. So the public service microfinance institution will buy the loans from all microfinance institutions on your behalf, take them immediately to under them, guarantee them, and then we hope that when we clear what we owe you in this debt swap, long service bonus, leave allowance, settling allowance, and we are forgiving your loans in goodwill. This is a jubilee year. 2025 is a jubilee year. When we form government in 2026, we have to forgive your debt like we are being forgiven as a country. Many countries are forgiving our loans. They are writing off our debt. Why can't government extend that to you? And we'll appeal to major employers to do the same. They don't have to forgive loans up to 100%. It's a jubilee year. They can do 50%, 25%. There is goodwill when government leads. Banks can also write off some of the debts. It's a jubilee year. Let's start afresh with proper discipline. And as all these things are going on, one of the immediate things we have to do is to freeze loan repayments. You freeze them immediately as you are working out, because these are supported by the law. They're supported by statutory instrument. There's a legal framework for all these. Some laws have to be changed. But as you are doing this, you freeze all loan repayments. You immediately transfer what we owe microfinance institutions to the public service microfinance institution. And a good debt swap, like I said, with what we owe you in domestic arrears, in leave, travel benefits, long service bonuses, gratuities, and other personal emoluments. We have to clear all outstanding retirement and repatriation allowances. You know what is happening? We have institution houses in schools, in hospitals, in clinics, especially in rural areas. These are mostly occupied by retirees because there is a law that says you cannot chase them from home until you clear everything from their retirement packages to their repatriation allowances. So you have government homes that are occupied by retirees. This, on day one, we have to clear all outstanding retirement benefits and repatriation allowances to free these houses so that our people who are young, who are working, who have just married, can move into those houses and then can deliver on behalf of our students, our workers, and everyone else. Value-added tax is 16%. It's coming down to 8% for all goods and services. 8%. Like we said, the major band of taxes should be between 0 to 15%. Nothing more, nothing less. Imported goods will have a higher tax rate. There will be a specification here, 16%. Higher than 15% because we're trying to spur industrial and manufacturing and encouraging investment in these sectors. So imported goods have to be higher taxed so that local goods like our trade kings and others that are producing locally begin to have an advantage, and you and me begin to have substitute products from the imported ones. So imported goods must have a higher tax band, 16%, but VAT down to 8%. Custom duty for all agricultural equipment, because this is now our focus target big 4 areas: agriculture, mining, tourism, and manufacturing. These will be big 4 areas. So any equipment to do with agriculture, 0 rated, you're not paying any taxes. Mining equipment, no tax on any equipment that you're bringing in. And because there is a revolution in the technology industries where we want to leapfrog, we are so behind. We're behind for many decades. All electronic gadgets, all electronic equipment, all computers have to be 0 rated, tax-free, so that the cost to the economy of communication and attendant infrastructure is lowered significantly. There is what we call excise duty. Excise duty is a tax that discourages excessive consumption. For example, luxury goods can attract up to 145% tax. This is to discourage you from wasting a lot of money. Like, you buy a very expensive Maybach, for example, a car that costs $300,000. We think that you can use that money better. So there's excise duty that is used, is sometimes what they call on-scene taxes. Imembu, tax ya membu. So on alcohol, tobacco, luxury goods, the tax is usually very high. It goes up to 145%. We'll reduce it to just below between 25 and 50%. Gambling. I think we are a Christian nation. Gambling is bankrupting our children, our youths. Is causing suicides. A hard decision has to be made. Before maybe consultation, we should immediately suspend gambling. And if there's any gambling that should be done, it should be state-driven. If you acquire a new lotto, Zambia lotto, they have even a building in Lusaka. You cannot have our people gamble their lives away to suicide, to bankruptcy. You cannot have. You are a Christian nation. These are not habits to promote. And they get some of our best film, movie, and soccer stars to front and promote gambling, to make it enticing, but it is wealth stolen from our poor people. A hard decision has to be made. Immediate suspension with a view to total ban. Or do like certain places where gambling could, like in South Africa, there's no gambling. You have to go, for example, to Sun City to go and gamble. excluded places far away from young people, from families where gambling is taking place. Under Project 2026, we are proposing that we suspend, with a view for a total ban, gambling, whether it's soccer betting, sports betting. Tax on plastic bags is at 30% to discourage taxes to come down to 15%. Then there is an excise duty on fuel. There will be a special fuel levy for the ambition we have to build up to 40,000 to 60,000 of road to make them motorable. A contribution should be made by all motorists, local and international. So that fuel levy is currently about 1 kwacha 15, where we don't even know where that money is. Because you can collect that money and hedge against it. Go to a bank and says, we have fuel levy for many years, 10 years, 5 years. Give us $1 billion because we have to do these roads. It can be given to you. You ring fence the fuel levy. So there will be a special exercise duty to deal with fuel so that that begins a seed basket for the major road rehabilitation, road construction, and road repairs that we are engaged in, and up to 40,000 to 60,000, making our country motorable. We want to abolish a property tax. Those that are property landed, the tax is very high. It's at 8%. We are reducing it to 2%. Intellectual property rights, this can remain at 8%. Mining rights, when you are selling your mine, bado kupeleka artisanal license uleshtisha, you pay up to 8%. You pay only 2%. This is to encourage investors to invest in some deal with you if you have that mining license, and I hope that they give you shareholding, proper shareholding. And then share transfer of companies, when companies are being sold, their shares are changing, is currently at 8%. Again, we want productive companies, you reduce it to 2%. Currently, mobile money transaction, there's a mobile money transaction levy act that cuts your taxes you very, very high. It was jumped from 0 kwacha, from 16 ingwe to 3 kwacha 16 ingwe. We are taking it to 10 ingwe. We have to take it to 10 ingwe. It was a 16 ingwe. It was a 3 kwacha 6 ingwe per minute. Today to 10 ingwe only. Our people have to communicate. That would be the best for our national development. Then there is this issue. You know, our people, we don't have an industry, motor industry in our country. We rely on these second-hand vehicles. We are putting flat fees so that there is no corruption at the border. Any car that's above 64 seats, buses, especially big buses, we have to encourage big buses. They should just pay a 10,000 kwacha. Between 50 to 63 seater, 8,000 kwacha. 12 seater and above, 5,000 kwacha. Any car below 12 seater should be 3,000 kwacha. Why? We are making our roads wider. We are improving. There's a housing scheme coming. So why can't we allow you to feel successful? Why should driving be a luxury for Msokotwane and his friends? You should be able to drive. 3,000 kwacha mwaleta motoka. Then they've targeted properties. There's rental income tax. We are paying, if your rental income is 12,000 kwacha and below the whole year, meaning someone pays you 1,000 kwacha, then 12,000 to 800,000 kwacha you pay they are currently paying 4%, we'll reduce it to 2%. Then for income above 800,000 kwacha, the people are paying 8%, who reduce it to 5,000. This is very important because you have derelict buildings. Rehabilitating them is very expensive. You have to give disposable income to landlords so that they can have new money to rehabilitate those, install air cons, install elevators, beautify. You cannot have a decadent city like Lusaka. We even have a special plan for our 4 major cities Lusaka, Ndola, Kitwe, and Livingstone, and how to make them viable again. Not the way they are like toilets. No, we need to make them clean. We need to revolutionize public transport, bring in train, bring in trams, widen the roads. We have to do that. And all those Findeco House, Indeco, Mindeco, they have to be rehabilitated. That's a prime, that's a face of our country. Lusaka is the face of our country. It's not Manda Hill. You know, it's not Thabo Mbeki Road. It's that Lusaka CBD, Cairo Road, Freedom Park, and Chachacha. We have to do what South Africa did. South Africa had to entice banks and major companies that if you have your headquarters or big office in Lusaka, in Cairo Road, in Freedom Way, in Chachacha Road, you have tax exemption of some sort. You bring in life back to that Lusaka. You cannot have a city dying. Mlenunka fiemisu. No, you cannot have your city, your representation of a country. Look at Kigali. Every entry from the airport is a 4-way major road with flowers in between on the island and trees properly manicured. 12-kilometer road from Lusaka Airport, KK International, to Cairo Road. Why should it be in the manner it is? Every entrance into the city must be a beauty because people make opinion about your country when they enter your city. Lusaka has to be beautified. There's a special attention to mine taxes because we think that this is where we are being crooked, we are being conned. So our mineral royalty tax currently is about 6%. We'll reintroduce that non-deductible mineral royalty tax, standard 5 or 6%. Then they can pay other royalty taxes. Company income tax is currently at 35%, 30%. We are reducing it to under 15%. The surcharge on mineral production, depending on how much you produce, that's the one you call mineral royalty tax on production. Again, it will be reasonable, but remember we are bringing the non-deductible tax. Whether you've produced, whether you have made losses, whether you've cooked the figures, you have to pay that non-deductible mineral tax. Other than the other taxes. Export duty on gold, on emeralds. If you have an equitable tax, you may not need an export duty if you have a good environment in the economy. But the reason we need an immediate export tax is because our people, the mine houses, are taking ore. They are not processing it in our country. We have to discourage that. We have smelters. We have to produce and smelt those. You have to add value addition to our minerals. So you have to discourage export in raw form, any raw form export. If, for example, you're exporting maize, there can be a surcharge. If you're exporting meal, zero rated, because we want to encourage production and jobs kept in our country. We cannot have a mine industry that is taking ore in its raw form abroad. That way you can't know what is in the copper. You have no idea if there is gold, if there is any platinum metals. You have no idea because it's going to smelt in China. When I was looking at the industry, I was looking at China. China has the biggest smelting capacity in the world. They love to bring it raw. They keep the jobs, and then they keep all the substitute. If they find gold, which you can't see if you haven't smelted, if they find other metals, rare earths, they capture those. They have the biggest smelting facility in the whole world. That has to come to Zambia. That has to come to Zambia. You cannot export in the manner we are doing. It's either a ban or a high surcharge on just exporting raw materials. Because we have to, how will we create those jobs? You have 7 million people waiting for jobs. Your former employment is only 1 million. How do you jump the jobs? Balanafet will create 1 million jobs a year. They can't even tell you how. We have the how the jobs can be created in the mining sector, agriculture sector, service industry, and the tourism. I think I've spoken to all these other taxes. For gemstones, we are encouraging lapidary and not exporting in raw forms. Emeralds should not go in the raw forms. Gold and other gemstones should not go in. We need to bring in lapidary, a very thriving lapidary industry, so that we're not exporting raw materials or raw stones. They have to be processed to a good standard. We reward mineral processing in the country, and probably ban the export of ore. Like I said, either put a high surcharge on as an export tax or ban the export of raw materials to encourage the mining sector to process in our country. That way we get high value, high taxes from what we have. If you export raw, you get nothing. Malo mule tuala. So they will pay nothing. But if you process, if you take it to a certain level, even the income to the state is quite high. So crushing, grinding, sizing, screening, classification, washing, froth, flotation, gravity concentration, leaching, smelting, magnetic separations, these will become primary. It has to be done at all cost. Then you smelting, and then value addition before you export. Then every large-scale mine in Zambia, government will own up to 49%. At the moment, we have those big mines that are opening, the ones that cobalt that will open, we have no shareholding. That's a large-scale mine with some of the world's largest copper reserves. We have to impose a shareholding, either 49% or 51%. If the investor doesn't want it, we say, okay, bye-bye. Torafa kowambi, aba ishbati fifyuma fiesu. Kuria kubarik gold, those big mines Lumwana has without presence of the state, we have to impose 49% shareholding. We also have ambition under Project 20 that we have to have a proper contract with the people of Zambia. Issues of good governance have fallen. We are repealing the cyber crimes and cyber security law immediately. We are removing all speech offenses. We are leaving only cyber crimes and cyber security issues. You cannot take a law designed to fight cyber crime and cyber security. You bring in speech offenses, you bring in tribalism, you bring in insult in that law. If you want a law for offenses, craft a separate law. In our case, cyber crimes and cyber security law will immediately be amended. All speech offenses, they should not fear to speak. We will remove all those speech offenses, that speech and expression offenses that have been targeted there. So cybersecurity will remain a law under to fight cyber crimes, properly defined, and cybersecurity. Issues of pornography, child online, exploitation, issues of scammers. Those are the issues that cybercrime and cybersecurity is here. Not tribalism, not insults. They should never be in that law. Not fearing to criticize the president. The Public Order Act, we are replacing it with a modern law. We are a democracy. We should allow our people to protest, to demonstrate, to picket. In fact, we section in town, opposite Freedom statue there is that open base. We modernize it to be a public square. There are countries, every country has a public square. That will become our public square. Now, issue protest. Now, issue against government, against anything. That will be open for you. Even the media camp there because they know there's someone coming to protest. We have to provide lights. We have to provide PA system for people to come and protest and demonstrate and picket. Opposite Freedom Square there is that large square. We are paving it, making it modern, giving it a stage, and giving it special lanes so that they do not interrupt in traffic that goes into town, that goes to Kamala, that goes to Independence Road. We'll have special roads and special parking space for whoever wishes to protest. So the Public Order Act, but in the manner it is, Muletina, is going. It will be a proactive law that allows you to protest, to air your views. Abantu, when they are speaking out, they are breathing, you reduce political tension, you reduce anger in the nation, you reduce chilafu makumutima bakulanda nokulanda nali abeba mwali ntamba nali amweba Hakainde Hichilema nali amweba Emmanuel Mwamba nali amweba Brian Mundubi nali nshangala nali amweba Lubinda. We want our people to feel freely like that. So there'll be a public square dedicated with public investment in it, suitable like every public square in the world, where you can go and picket, you can go and have times like a park, but if you have any issue of protest, even the media will be waiting for you. You can bring your banner saying, Ubuteko, they are corrupt, this minister is corrupt. You can come there. You demonstrate peacefully without disturbing public order. We are repealing those old laws, sedition and filia. Those laws are going. They have no place. They have no place in a democracy. Then, special attention, especially to our women who are crying, and to the damage that is being done to our children. Child defilement and rape, no bail for it. Incest, ulimufyash waikata omwana, nwe anko waikata omwipwa, kanisi niwe nani waikata incest, no bail. And we are stiffening those laws. We are not animals, we are a Christian nation. Rape, wakukani na you rape, those are strict offenses. We have to protect. A country that protects its women and children is a thriving society. You cannot have our women fearing to walk at the junkie will rape me, or that I have an uncle when he visits he rapes me. No, that is coming to an end. We are remobilizing victim support unit with experts, with proper policemen, with proper vehicles to respond to this crisis of child defilement and child rape that is occurring. Incest, umlandwanganga shire mibepa ngawalala no mwana, then business yala kula. All those is coming to an end. Every nganga will be an immediate co-accused and will suffer the same penalty. On constitutional amendments, I think we have to be very careful. Build proper consensus. We have Article 79 and we have Bill of Rights to enact. We need a constitution that guarantees economic and social rights, that clips presidential powers. These presidents are like kings and emperors. That's why Tuwatinina, you can't even say Hakainde Hichilema Oletina. These are servants. You elected them. They have to behave as servants, and we have to have a law to make them behave as such. We are superiors as a people. They are our servants. They have to bring servant leadership to deliver to our people. So be mindful of touching the law, or especially the Constitution, unless it's to the extent of amending the Constitution that we expand the Bill of Rights, we expand the rights and freedoms of our people, that we give economic and social rights, and that we clip presidential and executive powers. They should be properly distributed. Marimona Kenya, the Inspector General of Police is voted for. It's not appointed by you. The president can appoint. The ratification goes to Parliament. Sometimes they can even employ an outsider who's a professional who can come and lead that police force. We have to do those things in a deliberate manner. Thank you very much. Keep on sharing. This is an important, I know it's Friday, I know we are going to KK holiday, but it's an important address to our country. We are launching Project 2026. What can be done differently in 2026? How to remove President Hakainde Hichilema, and what are the alternative policies? We are bringing a revolutionary approach, special pragmatic approaches to public issues to ensure that we deliver our country. We jumpstart it. It should be one of the best economies. We should be one of the top economies in Africa. It can't be South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, and Ethiopia. No, what about us? We should be top there. We should beat all sub-Saharan countries with these revolutionary approaches that we are taking a people have to be free, they have to be thriving. You can't bring autocracy and tyranny and you think that our people can thrive. They cannot. You cannot have our people banking their money in Dubai, in Mauritius, in Bahamas, failing to invest in our own country. Why? Why should people not have money? Why have you criminalized wealth? That has to change. Our people's view should, if they have money, they should invest it in our country first. There will be no SEC looking over their shoulders. If you fight crime, you curb corruption, you ensure that all public processes are done properly, there will be no need to unleash SEC to the extent we have, where we've criminalized wealth in our country. So on state-owned enterprises, they will play a special role. Number one, we'll abolish IDC. I objected to IDC. It's an overreaching superstructure. Even when President Michael Sata introduced it, I said, no, this is a superstructure. It's not needed. Let's just make these state-owned enterprises thriving. Let's make them independent, have independent boards. Let them be professional. Let them appoint a CEO, a professional CEO, not a cadre, not a party cadre. A CEO of a thriving state-owned enterprise, whether it's Zesco, whether it's Zamtel, whether it's any other company, should not belong to PF or UPND. They should merely be professionals. So IDC, we are abolishing. It's a superstructure. The chairmanship of the president is immediately abolished. The president has no business. He's a senior person. He heads cabinet. The most senior entity in the entire country is chairman of cabinet. Why should he be chair of companies? Tulemu Fumiako president. Now IDC, we are abolishing it immediately. We'll have boards of directors ratified by parliament who will employ a professional CEO. Your application, whether you are Bemba, whether you are Chewa, whether you are Tonga, whether you are Luvale or Lunda or Lozi, if you are qualified, you should hold the position. You should not know anyone. The board should just look at your competence and your qualification. That's the revolution we are bringing to all state-owned enterprises. Agencies like the SEC, DEC, Financial Intelligence Center, and others, we are reforming them to make them robust, to provide the oversight that they were envisioned to provide, to bring professionals, not the way they've been weaponized to crush the opposition, crush the political enemies of President Hakainde Hichilema. No, we are professionalizing these agencies. We are of a special attention to reform the Zambia police, that it's immediately not a force but a service for our people. The C5 that kills wantonly, we are professionalizing it. It will be like the SWAT team. They will have uniforms, they will have cars. You cannot have a C5 in Gabaisa. They will have special vehicles, because we have these crimes that we have to fight, these violent crimes that we have to fight. The C5 will be transformed to a SWAT team. They will have helicopters to combat, these crimes. Someone has stolen a car, someone is stolen from the bank and is running away, someone has killed and they're running away. They will have 2-3 helicopters. How much are 3 helicopters? Police helicopters. The C5 will be transformed. They will properly be uniformed with proper gear to protect them. Not Fidiabes and jeans nama canvas, nakotana AK-47, ale yangasha kwat nakarimo. That's why they kill. That's why they have thirst to kill. They are not professional. The police is being transformed totally. Ama roadblocks yadayonse tulefu miyako. Ama roadblocks tulefu miyako. We'll just put security checkpoints. We'll empower RATSA to ensure that they police the traffic offenses and the traffic nuisance that's on the road. By the way, the roads will be widened, the city will be clean. We are shifting, for example, in Lusaka, we have to build a new bus terminus. Not Fidatwako at Amadongoliro Twako at intercity and the mushrooming compound that has emerged from there. You have to shift the intercity from there. This is where South African, Botswanan, Namibian, Malawian, Tanzanian buses arrive. You can't have makeshift nonsense that we have at the intercity. We are building an international bus terminus and replicating it in provincial centers. And border areas, again, will have state-of-the-art bus terminals, because this will be our entry point for this revolution we are talking about in mining, agriculture, trade and tourism. You have to have proper infrastructure for that, and it doesn't even cost money. You can have a proper infrastructure for proper business, a bus terminus. They're like airports with proper restrooms, proper roads. Not in the bus terminus. We are changing that. I'd said that there's a special attention being paid in Project 2026 on the mining sector. I think I've spoken to these issues at 49% minimum shares in all large-scale mines. For example, Sentinel Copper Mine, Kansanshi Mine, Lumwana, KCM, Mopani, Luansha Copper Mine, Cobalt, and all these that are coming. All large-scale mines will have 49% minimum shareholding. And then there'll be adequate, proper, just taxes to tax the products. ZCCMIH will immediately take over gold operation. We are endowed with gold in our country. You cannot have Sudanese. People from Dubai are the ones benefiting from our gold that is in Mumbwa, that is in Chongwe, that is in Vubwi. No. ZCCMIH is immediately taking over. If you have a license, you become a partner to ZCCMIH. They take over the requisite finance. They will require that they invest in manpower, and we immediately begin to mine the price of gold, emerald, sugilite, and other gemstones. We are deploying ZCCMIH to take center stage to these national resources. Core mining, I talked about it, that we have significant core reserves that can take us up to 200 years. There will be significant investment in these core mines so that we can produce power. Just from core alone, we can do 5,000 megawatts, and Zambia becomes an immediate exporter. And how long does it take to bring online a core-powered plant? From 6 to 28 months, it can be done. In the next 2 to 5 years, we can be producing another 5,000 megawatts of power. That's why our goal is 10,000 megawatts. Hichilema's ambition in the next 10 years, he wants to grow it to 5,000 megawatts. We are doing 10,000 megawatts in the next 2 to 5 years. I said copper production will jump. They have 3 million target in the next 10 years. We have 5 million target in the next 2 to 5 years. Gold refining will immediately be local. There's no need to export raw gold. And gold refining equipment is very, very cheap. So we'll have an immediate gold refinery industry in Solwezi, in Ndola, in Lusaka, in Chipata, because gold has just spread across the country. Let me quickly run through. This is a comprehensive thought. We'll reduce it into bullet points for people to begin to improve on them, contribute to the ideas, and to allow our people to buy into this national vision we can create for ourselves. The agricultural sector will drive our economy. We are jumping the number of contributors of Fiscal program from 1 million to 5 million. Government will support Fiscal smallholders from 1 million to 5 million. Remember the statistics. We only have 740 commercial farmers. With what we talked about with farming blocks, we are jumping the number from the current 700 commercial farmers in the country to immediately 5,000 in the next 2 to 5 years. The medium sector, we only have 400,000 farmers, 400,000 farmers. This number is going to 2 million. Remember, for the Fiscal program, 5 million. Commercial farmers, we only have 700. We are taking them to 5 million, and there will be an equitable investment to ensure that that is done. Livestock should be, with the land, water, grazing land we have, we should be a major exporter of cattle, of beef, of livestock. There's no way that we have the kind of population, 4 million, 3 million cattle. Botswana has more cattle than it has its people. We are jumping the number from 5 million livestock cattle to 15 million. How shall we do it? First, there will be an aggressive program to deal with livestock diseases. There will be a huge restocking. We will open state ranches once again to drive this process. And 15 million. And to ensure that way is export driven, we have to deal with the livestock diseases that, that is denkete and all those things should not exist in the modern era. So there will be a huge vaccination, huge dipping of tanks. This will be a special unit under the president so that we jump the numbers to 15 million and we take over Southern Africa and Sub-Sahara as major exporter to the EU of beef. Fisheries, we want to acquire. Look at the number of lakes we have, and our lakes are literally empty. I want to say fish with the fishing with the mosquito nets and others. There's no proper restocking. We are even importing fish from China. With all the lakes we have and all the rivers we have, no, we'll become a major hub for Africa in the fisheries. People love freshwater fishes, and we are enamored with it. So from Lake Tanganyika, Lake Bangweulu, to Lake Kariba, there will be a special accelerated growth program in the fisheries industry, like in the livestock industry. For law enforcement agencies, thank you very much. People are listening, and I'm glad that they are taking this program very seriously. There's from a dear brother of mine, Davis Kabijimpanga, Daffy Davis. He says, please just read these comments, Ambassador. For Zambia to get to the level of Congo in terms of copper production, they have to categorize a mining license like it has been done in the Congo. All the large-scale mining licenses have been reserved for serious investors who have to come to the table of value with huge balance sheet. Small-scale mining licenses are strictly for the locals. The Democratic Republic of Congo has increased its copper production to 3.3 million metric tons, or like I just said. Yeah. Thank you, Davis. Thank you very much. And he's got another one. You can post on my page or you can send to my email. He says we are losing a lot of revenue as a continent because we are exporting. Yes, I know the statistics. I was at the African Union. We import up to 88% of our produce, and we only trade with each other 12%. Those are jobs exported. Those are revenues exported. And David is speaking to this. He says, let's trade within our boundaries. Of course, that's our vision. That's why you have a major road, major power, major infrastructure, telecommunication infrastructure to every border side. From the center, you should leave in the morning and reach every border place, whether it's Nakonde, whether it's Jimbe, whether it's Congo, whether it's Mwami border. We have to revolutionize how this is done. He says Angola buys $300 million worth of milk from Portugal and New Zealand. Yet you have Zambia across with the most fertile of land. If we deal with the disease, the livestock diseases, this $300 million is free money from Angola across, and if you deal with the infrastructure. And he has provided the statistics. Thank you, Davis. I'll post them on my program so that people can see this contribution. Wonderful. For all those that wish to contribute, this is a serious program. We are launching Project 2020. How can you participate? How can you expand it? How can we refine it? How can it be a better solution for our country? If Kwangala, what we are doing, Kwangala, we have a nation to develop, and the pettiness must go. The partisanship must go. We all have to rise above above all this. Someone is saying, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, you're speaking very well, but you've been in government. Why didn't you say them? Maybe I should have done what I'm doing now. Speak their ideas and force people to listen to them. Our country can be developed. Maybe whispering to them. In Zambia, there are few originators of ideas. They'll copy, bastardize it, and not even develop it. I proposed Link Zambia with my dear friend, Charles Spange. Link Zambia 8,000 kilometers to be done between 2 to 5 years. The corruption came in, the other interests came in. It just lost the sight. We were supposed to have funding from the banks using fuel levy. It was hijacked and we got easy money from China. That was not the intention in the manner we had proposed it. So, yes, maybe I need to speak as loud as I am. And you, my brother, instead of condemning that ambassador, why were you quiet? Let me hear your idea. This is our country. Focus on the country. Don't focus on Emmanuel Mwamba. Focus on the country. Let us develop this country. So, David, I'll post your views on the platforms that people can approach them and can also discuss them. Let me just post them just now. And the other one, hope you don't mind, Davis. I've posted both your ideas on the program. Thank you very much. People can see Davis's comments so that they're part of the discussion. Amano mambulwa, mambulwa mano. It has to be a participation of all of us. I've said the agricultural sector will run our economy together with the mining sector. Law enforcement agencies, we are de-weaponizing them. We are depoliticizing these law enforcement agencies. You cannot have a police force in the manner we have. It's an enemy of the people. It's an enemy of opposition. You cannot have a police office like that. You cannot have the SEC that just target any wealth. They don't even have to know if you store it, or they just have to accuse you that you store. We are amending that law that allows them to do all those foolish things have to go. You do not have to criminalize wealth. How will our people benefit? How will our people invest in their own country? We will strengthen the Auditor General's office. You steal, we find you, you are locked up. We will strengthen institutions of oversight. Financial Intelligence Center, we find dubious things, we get you, we lock you up. But you can't criminalize wealth across board in the manner President Hakainde Hichilema, as if he's not a businessman, has done. No. The Victim Support Unit, I said, we are immediately investing in it to ensure that it tackles child rape, and sexual offenses, these incest, rape, and all the sexual violences occurring. The Victim Support Unit will support you. If you are a woman and someone to promote you, they need to do something to you, you report to them, we'll pick that manager, that human resource officer, or that supervisor. Sexual offenses, if you don't protect your children, if you don't protect your women in the country, your country is gone. There has to be special attention to the protection of our women. The C5, like I said, will reform it dramatically. It's a good tool, but now it's a criminal enterprise. They will have uniform, we'll buy them immediate helicopters for the Ndola, Lusaka, Kitwe, Chipata offices where crime rates are high, violent crimes are high. There will be a special SWAT team with weapons and tactics properly trained. And they will have specific training, specific mission, and to attend to critical incidents of crime. Another matter, we are combating drugs and crime at high level. You cannot have a country where you've lost your youths to drug and drug abuse, to alcohol and alcohol abuse. We are combating this as a national emergency. The issues of drugs and issues related to crime from drugs and alcohol, we are attending to it as a national. You cannot lose a generation in the manner we are losing them. No, not at all. This is a national pandemic and it has to be dealt with. We'll start with an immediate national drug threat assessment. It should be comprehensive in nature. We have to understand what is causing this. Is it broken families? Is it unemployment? What is it? The proliferation of drugs? Is it because DC has stopped doing its job? It no longer arrests drug dealers and dines with them? What is causing it? So there'll be a comprehensive strategic assessment to understand why there's this huge proliferation of illicit drugs, where you even have now Chibolia as the official capital of drugs. You just walk there and get whatever drugs you want. No. That's not the country that KK envisioned. Drug offenses will be non-bailable, like sexual offenses, and we are strengthening them. That DEC, we are revolutionizing it to respond. You remove all those compromised officers, okay? And we staff them with professionals that can fight the drugs and crime. I think we have many people who are well-meaning to develop our country, and this can be done in the manner that it is being done. Our priorities will be to immediately reduce supply of drugs. So we'll go to the suppliers. Who are they? Who are the drug traffickers? Who's manning our borders? Who is allowing drugs to pilfer through our airports and our borders? It will be declared an immediate public health pandemic. No one wants to talk about the drug abuse that has engulfed our young people. We are recognizing it, and it's an immediate public health pandemic. We have to ensure that public safety is assured. You cannot have a beautiful young country like ours with junkies. Junkies want to qualify in Zambia. Is that what KK envisioned really? Where are families? Why are structures of families coming down? I have a special page on that just now. So we are reforming, we're professionalizing, and we are bringing incorruptible officers to the DEC, and we are giving it teeth and power and finance. We are equipping it modern, not just from sniffer dogs, with equipment, protection, and they have to collaborate with entities like the SWAT team we're talking about to fish out these powerful drug lords that have invaded our country. You cannot have our country and our youth surrendered to drug and crime. That's not a Zambia we envision. Public policy, housing. Since the 70s, there has been no investment in housing. Zambia has grown to about 20 million people. Lusaka alone has 3.5 to 4 million people. Abantu beswemo bekala. Tuwa umfanensoni. No service, no water. Munena mayanda bekalamu. There has to be, we are saying Lusaka is the face of Zambia. Like Rwanda is the face of Kigali. Like London is the face of England. Like Paris is the face of France. Amashanti Township, Yonse, there has to be a comprehensive upgrade. If there are landlords there, we have to agree with them. There has to be proper compensation mechanisms. We have to bring a good housing in proper designed housing for low-income families. The townships have to go. They have to go. You have to put modern housing. It doesn't cost a lot. We have to bring National Housing Authority and invest in it to modernize Lusaka, to have modern housing and to have our people live in decent accommodation. For the landlords, you agree with them. Either they do a house that you've approved or you buy them out. We have to have, like I said, modern roads, modern bus stops, and decent housing. You can't have the entire Lusaka reduced to a shanty. No, Bane. We are doing ourselves a disservice. Dr. Kaunda had started this process. The local authorities in other places and cities are being mandated to collaborate with National Housing Authority to modernize our country. You know, by 1980, we are one of the most urbanized country in Africa, where there was proper planning, proper sanitation, proper housing, proper electricity. We're admirable along the line of rail from Livingstone up to Chirilabombwe. We were the most well-urbanized country. Now we've been overtaken by countries like Rwanda, Botswana, Namibia, Aobane. We can be a shanty of a country. So there's special attention that will be formulated around public policy and public housing. Zambia National Building Society will be revamped to give the loans, not to give themselves loans, but to give members of the public loans. No new sites will be opened if you can't find if you can't deliver the services of road, sewerage, water, and electricity, no new place will be given without doing those things. And there will be an immediate upgrade to Mrs. Chivolia, Chawama, George Compound, an immediate upgrade. You cannot have our people living in the squalor that they are living in. And will encourage private development to help with these planned settlements. You might give a private company that wants to invest in low-income housing, you give them land. Ministry of Land should be able to give them land. ZESCO takes electricity as an incentive. Then Lusaka Water and Sewerage delivers sewerage and water facilities. Then you give it to a private developer who's properly well-financed, and you've done your due diligence. They put up these schemes of housing. They can give them to the council to run, or it can be a scheme, rent to buy. We have to revolutionize again how we deal with our public housing. We cannot afford the shanties that have emerged. We can't be a shanty country. No, not at all. Not at all. Here is my last bit. And what we are going to have is that this is a series. This will be a series of discussion. Project 2026 is a series. Today I was just laying the groundwork and framework. Please write to me. I've got my email address, emwamba26@gmail.com. Write to me your ideas. You can post on Facebook. We'll do a summary of these thoughts so that all of us are engaged in this social contract. All of us are engaged in buying in what should be done to our country. We can't be insulting each and every day. We can't be crying every day. No, high cost of living, shan. Let's provide the solution, and let's show them that the solutions are here. I have special attention to the family, and this is how I close before I invite cause. The number of divorces happening to the family is shocking. The numbers are shocking per year. The marriage itself is under threat. Divorces have become common, and this is due to economic pressure, shifting gender roles, and societal pressure, and the poverty that has crept in. Another issue is the death of extended family. Kale abafyashinga bafu abantu abalesa kamano balishwa tawe. Uyu mwana wanshiwa te mwana wanshiwa bayamepo bali banalumepo bali. Banyina mkalambepo bali. The death of extended families is something to worry about. Government has to encourage that growth of. You don't have to be a nuclear family. Descend like we are Europeans. We are Africans. Then, of course, like I said, there are labor, economic pressures that are separating families. Remember, there's a policy that if you are a teacher and one is a nurse, umbiaba kuchoma, umbiaba kusolweze hawe, families have to live together. And the duty of government is to ensure all workers live together. No family should be separated. If they are to be separated, it should be just for short term. In the long term, families, couples, should stay in marriage and in marriage together, so that they can raise those beautiful children and we can combat crime. Good children, you have less crime. They'll go to school, someone will supervise. There's fertility decline. People are opting because of poor economy just to have 2 children. Our Zambia is very large. We need to have big families, 6, 8, 10, 12. Abantu mlefaya. And government has to respond, proper housing, proper infrastructure, good jobs. And we should have, for example, maternity leave that is supported by the state should be fully paid, can be extended up to 6 months from 3 months. We have to encourage the church and traditional entities that have been supporting the family deliberate as a state. Young people are deciding to cohabit instead of getting married. Others are choosing to be single parents because of all these pressures. And like I said, the rising divorce rate is alarming. And there's what we call waithood, where people are saying, me, I only marry when I have money for a wedding, for a kitchen party, or for maternity, or not marry. So the waitinghood period is also taking long. Then we have this issue, single parents, female-headed households that have grown, child-headed households that have grown due to various factors, including those days, HIV/AIDS factors. Families are a beating heart of all nations. If families are strong, the nation is strong. When families fail, nations fail. And all that is good is gone and lost. Saving the family is saving Zambia. I have a special appeal to all you men out there. The Lord says you are priests of your own homes. That's what the Lord says, that you are priests of your home. So as a father, as a husband, take up your role, take up your place. You are a spiritual leader in that home. You are the priest of that home. Guide that household. You are responsible for leading your family, nobody else. You have to lead in prayer. You have to lead in worship. You have to teach scriptures. You, as head of the family, that's a role that Christ has bestowed upon you. You are the priest of your household. As he's the head of the church, you are the head of the household. The very thing that the Lord does, protecting you, providing for you, ensuring that you thrive, you succeed, you have to do the same as a priest in your own home. So you have to pray, like I said, you have to lead, you have to intercede, be an example, be a teacher, be a disciple, be a counselor, be a guide. Protect that family, protect your wife, protect your children. No one will do it for you. And I talked about, how extended families have died. People are afraid to keep their mothers. The multi-generational families have kept our societies. If you leave your mother alone, take interest in this multi-generational approach. This issue that we are just single families is taking us nowhere. That is why we are not learning anything from our parents, and we are startup parents, and we make so many mistakes, both in marriage and in parenting, and we lose our children. So there should be special attention. Like I said, when families are strong, individuals flourish, communities thrive, government will have stable societies, crime will be low, education will be high, and you will have a healthy society away from drugs, away from alcohol abuse. It's a duty of government to strengthen our societies by strengthening the family, by supporting our children in schools. When families thrive, nations thrive. So government has to have a deliberate duty to support policies that strengthen marriages, that strengthen the family. Not policies that dilute it. If you have my LGBT, if you have Mashan Mule support, if you have Upuwefi, fostering abortions, where you are setting up abortion clinics across the country, if you're fiancé, you have to abandon that. The role of government is to support the family in its purest form, not to support abortions, not to support LGBT. Remember, this is not an happenstance institution. It's a divine institution created by God himself. It's not a human invention. God created this institution. And therefore, fathers and mothers have distinct role to play, especially in raising those children. They were not designed to be raised alone. If we have mothers that are raising our children alone, they have to be supported by government. Is there a subsidy for a single mother? How does she cope? How does she manage? Government has to intervene in the issues of the family to strengthen the family so that the homes are stable, crime rates will become low, education will thrive, and prosperity will thrive. We need in Project 2026 programs that support the policies of families, that struggles with the family to ensure that the family struggles become society struggles, become government struggles, so that we overcome all these issues that has plagued our country. Cohabiting. Why are young people just cohabiting? Why are they refusing to get married? Why are there single parents? How can we help? Why is the divorce so high? What is it? Where is our church? Where are our churches? Where is its role? Where are the spiritual guides, the church? Who is supporting the programs of the church to support the family? Why should we have child-headed homes? And like I said, marriage is not a private concern. It's a divine institution guaranteed by God himself. It should be supported. So our duty is to encourage and support. And here, on the tax structure, as I begin to come to an end, number one, there'll be policies to support early childhood education so that if the mother works, she has somewhere to take a child to a creche or to a nursery school supported by government, that she can work at least maybe minimum 6 hours and come and pick those infants. So you need to support early childhood education in the manner that President Michael Sata had seen it. We need to revolutionize that. We need tax credit when the mother is on maternity leave. This is a proper program. They just, as usual, they can't even explain their own program. When a mother is pregnant and gets maternity leave, you can give them, ensure that that entire maternity leave is paid. Number two, tax credit, that they should not pay any tax during the 3 months that they are raising that child for the country. That child can become a president. That child can become a manager. That child can become a soccer player. You can extend tax credits. They just can't explain how beautiful such a program is, So you may have to extend longer maternity leave, and you may also have to give a man maybe 1 month leave also to support his wife, because akanyanga kaisa fidakarilo obushku the first 30 days is terrible. It brings postnatal depression to our women. A supporting husband, supporting partner might be excused from work. Limi mwamubika ati omune if mkwetakanya mwakula bomba just the first 5 hours palanch mwaya afawa mayo, and you can work from home. If there's something urgent we need, we'll call you. Like I said, marriage is a stabilizing force to the society, to communities. It's a huge stabilizing force. It's been neglected, it's been scandalized, it's been reduced to a scandal. Marriage should be an institution we should celebrate, and government has a role, special role to play in supporting the institution of marriage. Collaborate with the church, strengthen these institutions. Like I'm saying, government should respond through tax structures and policies that encourages partners and couples to stay together. Remember what we said, if you are a nurse in Chilawombwe, you are a teacher in Kawambwa, the two have to be in one household. Government must facilitate that. Housing, the revolution to housing that we are bringing, should ensure that our people are living in decent housing, not if ikala mutumisakuta and embarrassing. Kota kwa wobuteko. So strong families support strong societies. So we need to bring social services, support those institutions created by Dr. Kaunda and community development and social services. Those will be revamped, modernized. We get the best practices across Africa, across the world, how to make them support the families, children in distress, women in distress, women who've been victims of crime. The economy and the government must respond, not in the manner we've abandoned the family to the vagaries of economic strife. Let me hear from you before we close. Hello, my dear brother. Good evening. Good evening. Mr. Mkosa, I've seen your call. Please make your contribution. Today we have a very positive program. Make your contribution. Today is not about parties. It's not about Tonse or UPND. It's about economic emancipation for our country. What are your views quickly?
Good evening, my brother.
Good evening. Mr. Mkosa, you are live. Proceed. You've muted yourself.
Yeah, what?
Yeah, you are live now, yes.
Yes. You know, comrade, I do really appreciate the way you have aired out your thoughts, which I feel if really during your time, these things sembe munaviganizapo maybe viviri or vitatu sembe vinachitika. Because one, we need to talk about
Mr. Mkosa, let me guide. Mr. Mkosa, Mr. Mkosa, let me guide. Let's talk about the ideas. Don't talk about me. Because you force me to begin to defend myself, tell you what I have done, how efforts I made to communicate these ideas. Let's discuss ideas. Yeah. Yes, Mr. Mkosa, I was just guiding.
You are speaking the way you are speaking, but you are speaking on behalf of the party that you belong.
No,
okay?
No.
That is what
No. Let me clarify. Maybe you were not there when I opened. I said Project 2026 is a framework I have produced, and I'm selling it to parties. I'm going to sell it to our party. I'm selling it to voters as a social contract. It can be expanded, it can be modified, it can be promoted, it can be refined. So this is not an idea of the party. This is Emmanuel Mwamba, who has spent a lot of time to think about this, and I'm selling it as an idea to all those that are interested.
But we cannot be always saying this government has failed because of cost of living. We need to also have some ideas to
Bamkosa, problem wakwata. Let's discuss ideas. I know you are UPND, but let's be productive. What do you think we can do better? If it is your part, what can it do better? Maybe you can even improve from these thoughts. Oh, he's gone. He wants to come and defend President Hakainde Hichilema. No, these are national ideas we are selling to voters and to stakeholders. Good evening, and how are you, my brother? Introduce yourself and make your contributions.
My name is Lungu.
Yes, sir. You are not Edgar Lungu.
Mwamba. No. Mwamba. I think among the people that I've listened to, you've hit the nail on the head.
Thank you.
What we need is exactly what you have said.
Yeah.
We need to revolutionize this country. Yeah. We have every resource that goes to wrong hands. Yeah. And I agree with you. Okay? The point you hit on the nail is the rail line that our former vice president is still holding to.
Yeah.
I think that is wrong. He is disservicing his province.
Yeah.
I sat with the honorable former vice president, and I said, we don't need you in this project. Let government take it up.
Is this PS Mishek Lungu?
Yes, sir.
Ah, wonderful. I'm glad that you also, yeah, please continue. Thank you very much, PS.
I said, you see, Honorable, I appreciate you are a former leader and you our leader even today in your retirement. but this project in your hands can't move. And my brother, we passed an SI, which stipulated that if an investor has been given an investment license for a particular project on a PPP, and it runs to a certain period, that license expires. And I think as government, we need to liaise. Where did we leave this?
Yeah.
What did we do? Why are we not following it up? We've lost an opportunity.
Yeah, from 1998.
That was going to change. Yes, we've lost an opportunity that was going to change this country for the better. There's a lot of investment that has gone to Sorowezi, but there's no good connectivity. Everyone is grappling of connectivity to Sorowezi to get those minerals to the market. But I also want to appreciate you when you are saying, let's take a center stage. 49% ownership as a start is good enough.
Yeah.
But we can't still sit with the 3% as a royalty, and everyone is smiling that the mines are working for us. No.
Yeah.
That's over top of our mind. We need to think differently. We are people that prefer to demonize each other. I can see what you have said, away from politics, away from belongings, but that's the direction we should take.
Yeah.
The current president had given a lot of hope. We will see this happen, We are here today. Let's not waste time with that. Let's look at how do we capitalize this country? How can we use our resources to build what we want? Exactly what you are saying. Garden compound can be an up market for everybody. Kalingalinga for everybody. Chawama, we don't need to sprang the city or cities in where we stay for us to develop.
Yeah.
There is a program under UN Habitat, which is under Ministry of Local Government. I was a person running that ministry at one point.
Yes, you were there as well. Yes.
Consolidating our cities. Exactly what you are saying. If a landlord owns 2, 3, 4 properties, as a government, you have the capacity to discuss with this person and give him a buy-in or buy it outright and change the model of our cities.
Yeah.
There have been proposals and proposals sitting. Look at the blue, whatever lake.
Mute your other device in the background. Mute the other device in the background.
Thank you. Is it okay now?
Yeah, just ensure that it's muted. Continue.
Yes. If you look at the dam that is in Chawama, there was a proposal by somebody to say, can we make this a recreation facility? And we agreed to it. It's sitting in local government. And everybody is dusting that project to say, let's do it. You know what you are bringing, Ambassador Mwamba? To me, it's a buy-in project that we can do as Zambians.
Yeah.
Let's forget about our differences in the political alignation. But if an idea is good, let's support it and support each other to better our country.
Thank you, PS. Thank you, PS. I'm so grateful. Please SMS me your number. I can reach you. And please, let's get proposals. You were at local government. You were at transport and communication. You probably had similar ideas. Let's see how we can consolidate them.
Thank you very much.
Oh my, 35 missed calls. Good that people want to participate. Please call. Good evening, my brother. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from. And please maybe keep it. I noticed we already have 35 missed calls. People want to contribute. So maybe put your thoughts shortly so that, brief. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Okay, my name is Joseph Kalenda. I'm from Zambia, to be specific too. Ambassador, been following, though I joined quite late of the program. Now, just actually the issue where you talked of Zambian Building Society enabling it to be able to help people people should be accessing.
In loans and mortgages, yes.
You recall, yes, loans and mortgages. You recall, Ambassador, that during the time of Mr. Sata, they came up with a very good program that institution which is meant to help civil servants. I think that one it is a very, very good program, and when you come back into power, would love that institution to be heavily funded, because as it is right now, it's very much difficult for civil servants to access loans there. And as a result, we now going to other institutions that are very much expensive.
Predatory,
Myself,
yes.
Myself, I'm a civil servant, and I'm speaking from experience. We were lucky enough that at some point there was the issue of debt swap, and fortunately, actually that debt swap was meant to benefit civil servants. And myself, I was one of the beneficiaries. Unfortunately, when PF was removed from office, the current government decided not to continue that program. And as we speak right now, a lot of people are highly indebted, including myself. So we are looking forward to a situation where the price of civil servants is looked into, and institutions like public microfinance must be well funded, including that same initiative that you're talking about. If this program can come into fruition, I think we can definitely go somewhere. And the overall conditions for civil servants improve. Ambassador, you have traveled in different countries, and honestly, I know that comparing the conditions of service for civil servants in comparison to other countries, we can do much better. We can do much better. And lastly, through this program, I would also want to say, Ambassador, as you talk about the 2026 project, I also want to hear what you have put in place for people with disabilities, because myself, I'm an interested party. I'm visually impaired. I rarely hear policies that affect persons with disability.
Okay.
I would love to see a situation where even us, we are considered. There must be programs.
For housing, my dear brother, you have a house already. Because remember, this is for low income and vulnerable people. So as soon as government builds, the first line are those that are vulnerable. You know, child-headed homes, single mothers, persons with disability should be the ones that you roll into those flats immediately. You know, then you keep on rolling out as the facilities are becoming available.
Wow, that one sounds to be a very, very good program. We'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, thank you so much. I will continue to follow.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please call. The number is on the screen. Sorry, we missed a lot of calls. We encourage you, when you call, speak briefly so that we can allow as many people as possible to participate in these brilliant ideas for Project 2026, how we can change our country, how we can have different approaches to developing our country, how we can jump our country from the sixth poorest country to one of the top economies in Africa, after South Africa, Nigeria, and Egypt. And it is possible with the ideas we've brought. So please call. I'm waiting for the calls. I'm waiting for the calls. Please call. I know you are itching to say your ideas. This is your program. Project 2026 should be our project, all of us. Please call. Okay. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from, and be brief. There's a queue.
Good evening, Ambassador.
Good evening. Please speak louder.
Okay, this is the Gen Z part.
Oh, Gen Z. Yes, my dear. What are your thoughts quickly?
Okay, thank you so much. I think I haven't listened so much, but I got into what I've heard from callers. I think that is a brilliant idea. This discussion should continue. This is what we need to have. And we need to shift. We need to shift from. Are you able to get me?
I want you to speak louder. I can get you, but speak louder. Yeah.
All right, okay. I'm saying I think the kind of politics or the kind of discussion that I've heard so far is good, and I think from now on we need to shift the kind of politics from attacks of individuals, names, and personalities to discussing topics that will yield or bring something.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say much, but thank you. We'll be calling in from time to time. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gen Z. Thank you very much. My dear Mr. Mkosa, quickly say your views so that we can accommodate others.
Yes, I don't have much to talk about. I just want to commend you on what you said about the law enforcement agencies.
Okay.
More especially the police.
Mm-hmm.
That and the other law enforcement. Although I don't agree on one point where you said they have been being weaponized against the opposition.
Mm-hmm.
I think we don't have to say such things.
Mm-hmm.
I remember during although you don't want me to mention your party, but I'm forced to do that because past plus present equals future.
No, you can discuss it. I won't stop you. I won't stop you, my brother. You can say, but all I just wanted you to be productive, so that you don't get other callers to attack you and you have no way to come back. When we discuss ideas, we're not discussing personalities. The debate is more productive. But you can choose what to say. I can't stop you.
Me, I don't mind. Even if they come, they attack me because me, I don't discuss people. I discuss ideas. If they would want to come and attack me, that's their own business.
Okay.
Doesn't matter to me. Let me put my thoughts here. I think on the law enforcement agencies, I think we are on a right track. We are on a right track because right now, as a country, we have a situation where the law is blind, really. It does not select who to follow. Once you break it, doesn't matter even if you are a former ambassador, you are a former minister, you belong to the first family, the law will follow you.
Okay, thank you.
I think
is that all, Mr. Mkosa? You can hear in the background the cause. You can hear the background.
They are better off than the way they were during the previous regime.
Thank you, Mr. Mkosa. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, Mr. Mkosa. Sorry. Thank you. I think we've got your point. If you see the number of missed calls I have, you feel for me. Please call. Please call. The line is free. Those that are calling. Good evening, my dear brother Patrick.
Yeah, good evening, Mama.
This was supposed to be your program, but you have kick-started.
I think what we need to do, Mama, is we need to start, based on Project 26, we need to start selling it now.
Yeah.
We need to break it down.
Yeah.
And start with mining.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, Mwamba, this is very good, and I think going into 2026, especially where there is this cyber law, whereby if somebody mentions people's names, they will be arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go there issue-based.
Mm-hmm.
What is it that whoever is going to stand against the UPND is going to do different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and me, I pray that the opposition will be organized in such a way that we've got one candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but let me just be quick, Bamwamba. A lot of people are calling.
Yeah.
So me, Bamwamba, I've seen 49% in mining.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the key to unlock Zambia's potential lies in 3 areas.
Yes.
After it's 4, but the other one can pay for it. It's mining,
Mm-hmm.
agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
and tourism.
Mm-hmm.
And then these 3 can also pay for technology, because that's how China developed their technology, by making money from agriculture,
Mm-hmm.
and mining and tourism, and then invest it in technology.
Mm-hmm.
But then, Bamwamba, mining is the only way we can harness our potential and develop our country.
Domestic resources.
We don't need 49%, Bamwamba. 49% is what is happening at Mopani.
Mm-hmm.
We need either the Botswana formula,
Mm-hmm.
which is 50-50,
Mm-hmm.
or 51% control.
Okay.
Yeah, like Mopani, Bamwamba, we only need 1%
Mm-hmm.
to reach 50. So, which means it's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
We know what is produced, we know what is sold.
Mm-hmm.
And not only that, 50-50, then we say 50% of the sales of that copper should come to Zambia.
So your proposal is that your proposal, your proposal, Bachilufia.
Zambia should be, if we are going to demand that either 50-50 or 51%.
Okay.
And the Botswana formula says 50% of that is sold in Zambia. And then for emeralds, we should also start adding value in Zambia. Why are we selling raw emeralds? You know, Botswana now is polishing diamonds in Botswana.
Mm.
And then agriculture, Bamwamba, we can become the food basket for the entire Africa.
Mm-hmm.
And not only maize, we can do other things, Bamwamba, tea, tobacco, and then also value adding. I remember, I think it was on your program where he says, we grow a lot of tobacco, but the cigarettes mapanga ku Malawi.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not good for us. Tourism, are you there, Mama?
Yes, we are listening. Oh, but have we lost you?
Mama, are you there?
Yes, I am. Quickly wind up, my brother.
Yeah, let me wind up. And then tourism, Mama. You know that there is a lot of potential for tourism in Zambia, but it's in foreign hands.
Mm-hmm.
One time, Mama, I was trying to book a visit to the Victoria Falls,
Mm-hmm.
and stay at one of the hotels. You know that you have to book through South Africa.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Meaning the money goes to South Africa.
Yes, the forex is going to South Africa.
Mm.
Now the question is, who will take over?
Mm.
Because all Zambia is they book through South Africa.
Mm.
I tried so many ways of avoiding it, but I was ending up in South Africa.
Mm.
Even the flights, you have to go to South Africa, then come to Livingstone.
Mm.
I rest my case, Mama.
Thank you so much. Let's pick other calls. Thank you, Bachiluf. You are a dear brother of ours. My dear brother, mute your device. We are discussing Project 2026. What is your view? Introduce yourself and tell us. Good evening. Good evening.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
May I choose to keep my name out of the conversation?
Yes, you'll be Mr. Anonymous.
Thank you. Mr. Mwamba, I've followed this program from the time you started. And to be honest, there's not many Zambians with this kind of information. Of course, each one can piece up information, piece information together, and put it the way you do. But I follow you. I find you to be a very, very informed Zambian and very eloquent amongst the many public speakers that we have. And I appreciate that very much. And your ideas are not far-fetched. For people that travel, if you travel just outside Zambia to, some of these developed countries, it pains to see how, those countries have developed with fewer resources compared to what we have.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, I feel bad myself when I travel out and I see all this, and I ask myself, do these politicians come to these same countries and see this, and they come back and they put their tails between their legs and say, we'll go ahead. We can only give people cash for work, and all that kind of nonsensical projects that don't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I take note of some of the points that you brought out, and I appreciate the presentation to the fullest. That's why I've managed to come this far. One of the points that I appreciate very much, and I hope that this in the project 2026 can be actualized.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the pay as you earn. We pay way too much.
Vane, you'll be paying under 15%. Under 15%.
Exactly. I am giving the government almost 40,000 kwacha.
Oh, Vane, you need to have disposable income.
How much projects can I run 40,000 kwacha every month?
Yeah.
So, if really this project 2026 can come to fruition, and I don't know who's championing it, if it's only you and or maybe other opposition political leaders, I think this is very progressive. And looking at you, when I look at your face, I don't see somebody whose intent is to just get to government or lie. I see somebody who tells the truth, who speaks things as they are. And I hope that even if you don't actualize, even this same very government that is here, if they can refocus their energy from just going for former leaders in the previous governments, arresting this one, if they focus the energy by some of these ideas, I don't think we are going to have a country that is looking the way this one is. One of the questions that I have for you, Mr. Mwamba, is we are already accruing debt.
Mm.
This government say they found a lot of debt which they are dismantling, and they also managed the debt restructuring, but they are also now borrowing more and more. There's this ambitious project. How is it going to deal with the debt that it will find?
Mm.
And I took notes, so I'm taking a bit of time to just look at what I was writing. How are you going to deal with this debt, to service the debt and also do the big projects like the railway network system that you've talked about, which is going to be a game changer, the road network system, the C5 and all these unprogressive units of government that are currently running in their form that is not benefiting the citizens.
Mm-hmm.
Just, are acting like caponias on the streets. They are not different, but they are units that were meant well, but now they've just become something else.
Yeah.
Thirdly, I would want to propose, that in the 2026 project 2026,
Mm-hmm.
I think look at government trying to harness some of the licenses that have been dormant and develop the way the government started developing mines like Washa mine, Changa mine, Konkola mine. The way they started developing, government started some mines and do the exploration and develop the mines from ground zero way up to the roof.
My brother, let me take other calls. I think I've got you. On where the money will come from, I think we've demonstrated that there will be an aggressive domestic finance mobilization, starting with the mines. If we have a shareholding like that, 50%, you have non-deductible royalty, then you reform the tax system. You expand. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, please go. Hello, good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from and make your contribution.
Evening, Ambassador. Anonymous from the UK.
Thank you.
First of all, congratulations on the program. And just 2 quick points. Some very fantastic priorities you've listed. But I just wanted to just ask that as obviously you start to explain your vision and the plan you have for this project, you start to add some clarity around how these priorities are going to be funded.
Okay.
Just so we avoid getting into this cycle of undelivered promises and getting governments which get used to essentially not delivering on the promises. Because obviously, judging from what you say on your program, you sound like you want to take the country into a different political era where people are serious, they deliver on their promises, they take their people seriously. The second one is I just wanted to ask if it is possible for you to start showing us how the next prospective government is likely to look like. You know, who's going to be our president, our finance minister, the key positions, so we start to get a picture of what our leaders in the next government.
Okay. So funding,
like. That's it.
deliver on promises, and then prospective leadership. Thank you.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, guys. We may need to close. I know I've missed a lot of calls, but please call. This is an exciting program. We need to have a second series where we begin to refine these ideas. This is a broad framework that we've delivered to demonstrate that we can build our country and it can become a top economy in the next 5 years. Rival South Africa, Egypt, and Nigeria. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. This is Mr. Mlenga calling you from Wansha.
Mkwai, Mr. Mlenga. Good evening.
Mkwai, I've been struggling to get in touch with you in the first place, but eventually I think today I've managed to get in touch.
Thank you.
I'm on the Copper Belt currently. I think I move around Kitwe. Though I found this program, I think almost at the end, I didn't get much of what you have said before. But currently, I think on the Copper Belt, there's nothing happening on the mines. I've gone to Kitwe, I've been to Mufurira, I've been to Chingola. There's really nothing happening in terms of investments. And life on the Copper Belt in terms of the people, it has deteriorated. So I think the current government, they are not looking at the realities on the ground. But I think it's better to leave it the way it is and wait for 2026. But then I think concerns Mr. Mwamba on the Tonse Alliance. I think we have the hope as the Zambian people in the Tonse Alliance. But I think the current happenings, I think I'm not so pleased that again Mr. Givenwind has been appointed as the Tonse Alliance acting president. I think I'll draw you back to when he was appointed as the acting president.
Wamlenga. Oh, he's gone. Please call. Let's hear your contribution. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba. This is Joseph from England.
Oh, yes, my dear brother.
Yes, sir. Just a quick one again. I think I agree with what especially my brother, Mr. Patrick Tsanga, said. But I think it's best that we don't have a president who knows everything and does everything. And therefore, this time it would be best if you can be bringing different leaders to talk on different aspects of the 2026 projects. For example, somebody can come and talk tourism, somebody else can talk mining, so that at least we know the whole team is working together rather than just you.
That's true. That's true. Thank you very much. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Chunglopo mkwai Ambassador Mwamba.
Mwawomben mwa fiash.
Awe tulekos. I hope you are well na family.
And now we are well. Who's calling and where you calling us from?
John Mabukuita Likuno, I think Kaidiva Father Pombo Lotari online.
Mkwai mwena Italy. But then we to Amituli la project 2026. What are your thoughts?
Yes, I'm very happy. I feel saddened. I never thought Kila lifetime my country, Zambia has been a beacon of hope and peace for Southern Africa, where now we have our own citizens running away from our country. And I think my observation as somebody who got the opportunity we get lost into details as a race, as Africans, like what you put across. It's so well detailed and it's very, appealing, ambitious. But we have missed out on priorities. We even sometimes compare ourselves to developed countries. If you observe these developed countries, all of them have put the basic things of life in order. Mwamba, it won't work for us as long as we don't have love. There's no love in a black man's heart. You can try to experiment. You can see the mess that can be there because we don't have this collective responsibility in our hearts. When we elect people, all of them from our associations, but now it's our time to eat. There's now, we should start teaching ourselves the basics of life. That's why, if you observe, any developed countries, one of the fundamentals that they have put right in the language, they use their mother tongues. For us, we can't even choose one amongst ourselves. We think through foreign languages, whether new Francophone countries or for Anglo-Saxons. So as long as we are not preaching love, you will see even the next maybe government in Zambia, it will be so vindictive and vengeful such that energy channeled which the revenge instead of prioritizing the people because there's no love. A black man would rather wake up in the morning and throw trash neighbor than to prescribe at all. Just to speak on Akanono as an example, we need to start learning to appreciate and accepting ourselves. So you meet a fellow Zambian or a fellow African, the only Africans who I see have got solidarity and love for each other are Nigerians. And we need to learn this. As long as there is no love, there is no appreciation of ourselves. You hate each other, it won't work. So I'm encouraging you to start preaching to accept ourselves and love ourselves. It doesn't matter. America, Chicago, South Side, it's black on black crime. Africa, we are so
I think that's why you saw, if as you watched, there was, Bamabo. Yeah, Bamabo, as you saw.
Because there's no love. Thank you, Ambassador.
Thank you. No, as you saw, Bamabo, we had a special page on the family. We think that has a special role. Okay. Wow. I think this is what we need to discuss. Can you imagine the calls are so many? Please make your name and your contribution.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Please mute your device. Mute your device.
Yes, I've done so. Thank you.
Thank you. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
My name is Taonga. I'm calling you from the Copper Belt.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Pastor Mwamba, for your very detailed presentation and very hopeful presentation. In the time we are living in right now in Zambia, we really need the hope that there are people out there who are thinking of bringing such kind of meaningful change to our country, that our country can go back to being a country we are all proud of. I will try to be very brief. I want to only speak on the issue you spoke about of the family, how we can get the family back to a place of pride, because when the family unit is destroyed, everything else comes to a standstill and the country will be destroyed. I was having a conversation earlier today with a family member on how we have lost our values as a people. You know, I'm not a Christian myself, but I know Zambia being a Christian nation, if it was being governed on the principles of Christianity, we should not be where we are today, where families are living apart. Like you mentioned, the civil servant, one is in Kalabo, one is in Mansa. How do they grow the family? Children end up living with one parent and are not benefiting from the guidance of both parents every day of their lives. That has led to a lot of problems in terms of, you know, the drug abuse going on among our young people today. HIV prevalence rates are on the increase, not just in the older people, but in the young ones between 15 and 28 years old. It's because of lack of guidance, consistent guidance in the families. And the separation of spouses is leading to very high HIV infection rates.
Yeah.
So imagine now we have this population of people who are either drug addicts, betting, gambling addicts, and HIV added to that. We have moved away from preaching our cultural values of abstinence and staying away from adultery and all this. We're just talking about, no, let's treat people, no, let's practice safe reproductive health, whatever practices for the young children. We're exposing our children to very bad and unproductive advice instead of teaching them back to our cultural values, which says don't do this, but it was preserving us. So we are going to have a country full of disease, full of addictions, all these. We cannot be a productive people. So we really need to go back and look at where have we gone wrong in terms of preaching our national values as a people. Let's engage the churches, other religious groups, because all of them have got youth chapters in their congregations. What message is there for the youth? Are we teaching our youth to stay away from these bad vices? As parents, are we there for our children? Are we also showing them a good example in staying away from these vices ourselves? So that is my contribution to that.
Thank you,
I'm very happy
thank you.
with the Project 2026, and I would really be happy to see that come to fruition in terms of like pay as you earn, in terms of housing development. We have fresh graduates going into employment, cannot afford the kind of accommodation they should be living in. There's just no accommodation out there, you know, decent accommodation. So I'm really happy to hear this. This gives us hope. It's a different kind of politics other than just personal attacks and propaganda. This is real, tangible solutions to our problems as a country. So thank you so much, Mr. Mwamba, and just know that there are many of us behind you who are hopeful that we can turn our country around. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, a call from a lady from the Copper Belt. God bless you, and thank you for your thoughts. Family, we're presenting Project 26. It's a launch. It's a broad framework. It's going to be in a series. Some people have even proposed that we begin to go sectoral, detailed sectoral, and we bring experts to speak to how feasible this is. Many are worried about the financing structure. How can we finance these ambitious projects? We want to acquire, so we're a wealthy country, one of the richest in the world. Our money is lost to corruption and tax evasion. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes.
Yeah, just a quick one. I think that thank you so very much for this wonderful program. We don't doubt your abilities, Ambassador Mwamba. And I think that's why you have seen that in the other camp, you would see that 5, 6, 7 of them are all live trying to, this one, this at this point, there is Mwaliteta, there is Mue and others. This is a very, very wonderful program and a lot of things that you have discussed, too numerous to, itemize. But one thing that, among many, that caught my attention was when you spoke about how we can, research actually shows that, in fact, Zambia loses over 300,000 in mortalities arising from East Coast fever. That could just be managed by vaccinations.
Yeah.
Neighboring countries like Tanzania, countries like Kenya, they have introduced the vaccination against East Coast fever, Tenkete and that water, but there's nothing like that in Zambia. So those are the issues that you have spoken about. You've spoken quite a lot. And in fact, to answer some of the callers who spoke about money, if someone never dropped the charge against that mine that didn't pay $2.5 billion, I mean, the 800,000 people in would even pay zero.
Ni starter idea. Ikawa starter yesu.
Yes.
Ila $2.5 billion watu kwatila wa face quantum ni starter. $2.5 billion ni starter yesu.
Exactly, Ambassador. And that is what we are talking about. The country does not have a proper cancer hospital. Someone drops that thing. And continue, Ambassador, continue. We don't doubt your abilities. Continue. Let me give her a chance.
Thank you very much, my brother. You didn't introduce yourself, but God bless you. Okay. I think abantu bamulenga from Luansha. Munyina nachebati ili ashlia batonse tulibike kwa side landeni for topic.
Now I've got you on the topic now. I think that one we can chat later.
Thank you.
Yes. On the development agenda, I'll start with the mining. Mining is where we get a lot of resources in terms of tax, which we are not doing now. As you know that the precious stones, we are not getting anything because it is zero tax by this government. So, and when it is, at the moment it is zero tax, you go to the toll gates which were introduced by the PF through the late President Michael Sata. All these toll gates, again, they have shifted. They have gone to Mark Ocean. They are collecting toll gates. They will be collecting toll gates for 25 years. Really, there is nowhere where we can get the taxes. Now, because me, I'm in I have a small business, and we have been taxed. We are the tax from 4%, it has increased to 5%. You see, when literally there is no even power, energy, which we can. Most of these people who fall under this threshold, where they have to pay these taxes, can pay these taxes. Because the people that have the people that own the mines or who own the mines under these precious stones, they are foreigners. Greece mines had closed at one time because of those, and is back now because of the zero tax. Now, this is a government that campaigned on maximizing collection of taxes, which they are not doing now. So we cannot grow the economy when our GDP is nothing, is at zero. This is the current means of finance. I think we should have a background. I need to get briefly back to under the late President Rupia Banda. When he appointed Sumbiko Musokotwane as the finance minister, remember that at that time, because people forget easily, the campaign for debt cancellation started under the late President FTJ. United Nations, after winning elections, he went and pleaded for total debt cancellation. But this came to be to the realization under the late President Mwanawasa. And people forget easily that it's FTJ who had put in reforms and also requested for total debt cancellation. And it only came to fruition under President Mwanawasa. And Mwanawasa benefited and RB continued to benefit out of the fruits of FTJ. People forget, but FTJ, is one day, I feel like crying every time I start this topic because it's FTJ who had done all this, but the people that benefited are these presidents that came after. So that debt cancellation, which happened, after that, we went into another process, and now I want to talk about this current process, where we're talking about, where they have been talking about all this. The president, I want to talk about the minister who is there now, the finance minister, because when he came in, the economy was doing very well because of the background that I've given. But it started deteriorating to zero, where he started borrowing. It's him who started borrowing.
Yes.
He started borrowing, and despite inheriting a very good economy at zero, he started borrowing. And this is a minister who has been appointed under this regime. I think this is a old school. He can't achieve anything as Minister of Finance.
Thank you, Amlenga. Thank you. Let me allow other callers quickly so that we can close. We've been broadcasting for the last 3 hours. I didn't anticipate such overwhelming response to Project 26. Clearly, this is a revolutionary, out-of-the-box approach to how we should develop our country. And it has received maximum response from all of you. Over 56 missed calls, and I don't know how to accommodate them now. Hello, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello. Hello, I'm Kenneth calling from Siavonga.
Yes, my brother. Make your contributions.
I appreciate the job that you're doing for the betterment of Zambia. And I would like to say currently we only have 2 journalists in Zambia, and that is you and Mr. Thomas Alan Zambo. And I would like if you can feature Mr. Thomas Alan Zambo on your... Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you from Siavonga. Okay. You might just be the last of the few callers. Maybe do I need to prioritize this calling from let's see. I'm trying to call back. You are the lucky one I've called back because you are among those that have missed the calls so many times. Tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
My name is Chilufia. I'm calling you from Leicester.
Okay. Leicester in UK.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Thanks very much. I've been following what you've been saying. I will have to agree with you with the Project 26, which you've tried to outline, especially when it comes to mining. I have to agree with you, and this is what I've always been telling people. I've always been saying this to people. There is no point in our president, right, standing on the podium, thumping himself on the chest to say, I'm bringing in investors. We don't need those investors.
No.
We need them as partners. Don't go and shout on the rooftop that you are going to create, these guys are coming in to create employment. They're only employing 3,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
Like the case is with, at Mopani.
Mm-hmm.
Very few people employed, and you let these guys bring in their own suppliers. They're doing everything. What is it that we are benefiting when we are not even taxing them?
Yeah.
We've got to start all over again. Let's start benefiting from our own resources.
Mm.
These guys don't come in to improve our lives. No, they are businessmen.
Mm.
Thank you very much. I'm impressed. We have to study everything again and see,
kindly, my dear brother, make contribution. This is an open document. I've just thrust before all of the country a framework of how we can do and develop our country far faster at a shorter rate. So make contribution. Let's refine the document. It is possible. Our country can be better. It is feasible. It can be done. You know. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a farmer.
Yeah.
I'm relocating back home after 26 years of living in the UK.
Yeah.
We had the drought last year. Did I receive any help from the government? No.
You see.
That was after losing everything. You and I know, how it is in developed countries.
Oh yeah.
I would have expected a bit of help from the government.
Yeah.
No, there was nothing. Zero.
Yet they received up to $900 million to help people like you.
There we go.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, my brother. Thank you.
Thanks ever so much. And I think today's was excellent. Thank you.
Okay. I'm grateful. Thank you. Thumbs up. Thank you. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. You are among the last three callers that I have to pick.
Thank you so much. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Thank you. My name is Joseph again.
Okay.
I don't know, I'm lost of words. For the longest time, we have what we call a breather, having people like you, bringing out a roadmap that gives hope to the people. This one is by far better in every area than, the rhetoric that we were given by the current, president who is actually running our country. If what you have articulated is implemented, Zambia will be totally, because these are practical, and for me, I have no doubt actually that this can actually be implemented, because when I see where you're coming from, especially, the previous government, that was a system that was well established, in most cases professionalized. They had a well-defined, system that I still believe that if today you bounced back to power, this will be one of the easiest things to implement. This is what leadership is all about. It's about a vision. You have to envision what you want to see. They don't just come from nowhere. And what you feel this project, 2026, is just a bit in Zambia that we do not, hold people that have, people of your caliber in high esteem. We have a political system that has been so much polarized that we do not, hold people in high esteem of your caliber, because really, for me, people that come out with issues like that are going to bring a difference, in our country. You've spoken about issues of, one thing I think I just want to talk about is the issue of
vehicles,
Yeah.
excise duty on vehicles.
Mm.
You know, transportation should never be luxury.
No.
It is a necessity now.
Mm.
And most of the money that is actually collected in those places, it does not do its intended purpose. It has actually created enough room for corruption.
Yeah.
And if imagine you opened up the way Project 2026 has outlined, it will mean a lot of people who are going to import vehicles, and at the same time, they will have high revenue collected, you know, from those places. You know, you've spoken about issues of livestock, how we can actually take advantage of our neighboring countries like Congo, Angola, and all these other countries in exporting beef.
Yeah.
These are some of the things that I pray that, you know, Tonse, this becomes their baby, and you run with it.
Yeah.
I have hope for Zambia. Trust me, for the longest time, I was lost. For the longest time, I was feeling like there is nothing, there is no hope for Zambia. We just continue to be the way we are. But having minds like this, bringing out, you know, the very things that are touching the hearts of the people, the protection of our women, you know, the removal of repealing this cyber bill, you know, and all these other things that you've outlined, I'm telling you, I'm breathing now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ambassador.
Oh, thank you for your kind words. Thank you so much. I'm grateful, and thank you for your contributions. That was Mr. Smutwe Joseph from UK. Today we have the largest number of people calling from UK. We thank God for your views and your support, and I'm glad it's been 3.5 hours and you've been listening. I want to close at 23:30. It's been a special program, so call, make your contribution, run the rest quickly. Let's hear your views. We close, then we begin to go sector by sector, sectoral approach to this Project 2026, how we can develop our country in the fastest way. People are worried about financing. Well, the money lost to corruption is $3 billion every year. $3 billion. This is just in illicit financial flows. Before we talk about the money lost in the public sector, another billion. We plug these holes, we have enough. We widen the tax base, we have enough to run with Project 2026. We don't have to rely on IMF, World Bank. We make the mines pay equitable, fair, just taxes, and we participate. We deliberately get in, spy economic, sectors like agriculture. Let them be the engine for our economy. But by just providing the enabling factors, electricity, water, and roads to all these areas, you will jump the number of commercial farmers that you need. It's a brilliant program. Let's continue to speak to it. The phone is open. You please contribute before we close. Okay. This gentleman has also been calling for a long time. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling from. Yes, thank you.
Yes, my name is Felix. I'm calling from Chilabombe.
Thank you, Felix. Make your contributions.
Yes, maybe just try to add when you spoke about combating crime. On the other side, you spoke about family issues, family values, and so on. I think that in the project that you are talking about, why don't you include reforms in the Zambian police?
Reforms in the Zambian police. Yes, there is. I think you probably didn't get it, where we are saying the C5 will be transformed to a SWAT team. There will be both helicopters and proper gear. Then the police force will be turned to a service, and we are taking victim support unit as a special unit to fight these crimes against women and children.
Exactly. Especially I probably tuned in while it's already started the program.
Yeah.
But I think that since this is full force, we can sit down and drop the email that you advised.
Yes.
In terms of how we can also contribute. We can't wait for this project.
Thank you. our natural chase which we can rescue it. Let's save our country. Let's build our country. We owe it to ourselves. We can't give up on our country. We cannot. Thank you very much. I've put my email address for your contribution. Thank you, Mwena Chilabombwe. Please call before we finally close. We might have another special on Monday just to amplify on the framework and views of Project 2026. I want to close at 23:22. Thank you for all that have been listening in. We were launching Project 2026, a vision that can accelerate development to our country, a vision that can make Zambia literally #1 producer of copper, of maize, a country, a vision that can promote national unity in its entirety, provide jobs, stabilize families, a vision that will ensure that we promote democracy and abandon tyranny and dictatorship. This cannot be done without you. A vision promoting unity of the opposition in oneness. And this is a social contract with the people of Zambia, social contract with our voters. Beyond rhetoric, beyond campaign promises, beyond, I will summarize a document and I will put it out in a simply written form that people can add, subtract, consolidate, strengthen it. We need to agree on Vision 20, on Project 2026. Sorry, I missed this because I'm calling them back. Good evening. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Yes, good evening. Who's calling and where are you calling us from?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, my name is Lucy. I'm calling from Zambia.
Okay, Lucy, please make your contributions.
I'd just like to encourage opposition to preach peace and preach positivity. I think we're tired of the negative rhetoric that is going on. We want to know what the future plans are, and we want to know how opposition will bring the country together. Okay, there's a lot of division, there's a lot of fear, and of course, some may be feeling hopeless. So, a lot more hope, a lot more love, a lot more unity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You see why we need to protect our women and children. Our women preach peace. We preach war. We preach fights. They preach peace. There's that quality they bring to leadership. They want calm. They want harmony. So then you can deal with the big issues. If you're not fighting, you can develop the country. If you're not quarreling, you can develop the country. So there is a special need to protect our country by protecting our children and our women. So thank you very much, Lucy, for that contribution. Whoever wishes to call, please call. We are closing in at the half-hour mark. You can watch this program again and again. You can just rewind it. It's on YouTube, it's on TikTok, and it's on my page and a few other pages. I guess it's time to close. So thank you very much. Today we're discussing Project 2026, launching a bold move of how to develop our country, how to unite our country, how to deliver, how to save our women and children, how to save our country, how to save our families, how to harness our public resources, our endowments that the Lord has given us in mineral resources, land, water. How can we exploit them to benefit our country? A broad ambition, how we can develop our country in the next 2 to 3, 5 years, where we lift our country out of poverty and become the top 5 countries in Africa. It can be done. We have all the resources before us. What's lacking is leadership. To coordinate, what's lacking is vision to exploit our resources. The information is there. Our technocrats have done their best. They've provided research. They've provided best practices across the world. We don't pay attention. We are engaged in petty squabbles. Who has the largest forehead? Who has the largest nose? Who has the largest hair? Who said what? Instead of focusing on what we can do for our country. So God bless you. God bless Zambia. And God save whoever is messing with our country. We have a duty to ourselves. We have a duty to our children. We have our duty to our grandchildren that we develop this country and we live a better Zambia. We cannot have a country whose youth is lost to drug addiction, to alcohol abuse. We cannot have an adult population roaming unemployed. No, we cannot have these suicide rates where you have 35 bodies deposited in UTH alone every week. No, there is something that can be done for our country and we can develop our country. God bless you and shalom, shalom. Good night.